Hi everyone, welcome to Detective Brooks. Before you drift off, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. If you're enjoying the stories, don't forget to like and subscribe now. Let's relax and jump into tonight's case. On a chilling February 26th in 2019, a man by the name of Lehigh Jean stepped into the Duncan police station in On City, his face etched with worry. He was desperate. Having lost all contact with his parents, his father, a 62-year-old man, and his mother, just 58. The air was thick with tension as he recounted his fears, setting the stage for a mystery that would soon unfold. Had vanished, and Lei turned to the police, desperate for assistance in finding them. For those acquainted with the dark underbelly of South Korean cases we've explored, the response from law enforcement is all too familiar. The Korean police often display a disconcerting lack of urgency, even when it comes to missing children, let alone elderly individuals. Regrettably, this case followed the same grim pattern. The authorities dismissed Lei's worries, arguing that it was exceedingly rare for an elderly couple to disappear simultaneously. Most instances, they claimed, were merely misunderstandings or medical crises. Yet, Lei remained steadfast in his belief that something was amiss. In a seemingly ordinary life, Lehigh's parents were the picture of health, free from any ailments that could foreshadow a sudden vanishing act. The odds of both of them falling ill at the same time were slim, yet he found himself grappling with a chilling thought. Perhaps they had embarked on a spontaneous trip, or maybe personal matters had drawn them away, leaving him in the dark. The police, however, urged him to remain patient, to wait for news that never came. Days turned into an agonizing 2-week stretch, each hour heavy with uncertainty. Finally, on March 16th, with dread settling in his gut, Lehigh made his way back to the police station, still haunted by the silence that surrounded his parents' absence. In a chilling turn of events, the authorities sprang into action with a newfound urgency. Just 2 days after the initial report, on March 18th, they stumbled upon a horrifying discovery at an apartment complex in Gwaung's Duncan district. Hidden away in a wall cabinet lay the heavily decomposed body of Lei's mother, SJA. But the horror didn't stop there. That very afternoon, a warehouse manager from Rural Paint, disturbed by a persistent foul odor that had been plaguing local villagers, made a shocking find. Inside a refrigerator, he uncovered the lifeless body of an elderly man. Subsequent DNA tests would later confirm the grim identity of the deceased. On that fateful day, Lehigh's father, Lee, stumbled upon horrifying discoveries that would haunt him forever. The weight of the revelations was nearly unbearable for Lehigh, but what truly sent chills down his spine was the forensic report that followed. It left no room for doubt. Du and Sunjo had been brutally murdered. Their bodies, marred by countless wounds, presented a gruesome tableau that confounded forensic experts, making it impossible to pinpoint a single cause of death. This was no ordinary murder. It was a harrowing tale of prolonged torture, a nightmare that only concluded when both victims drew their final, agonizing breaths. The grim timeline traced back to February 25th, just 1 day prior, sealing their tragic fate. Before Lei first reported their disappearance to the police, a chilling realization dawned upon him. Had the authorities taken his initial report seriously, they could have gathered crucial evidence sooner. Though it wouldn't have saved the victims, it might have made a difference in solving the case. Yet, the investigators seemed unbothered by this failure, dismissing the murders as a typical revenge case. They believed the killer would be found by tracing the victims' social connections. Thus, they split into 2 teams, one to investigate the crime scenes for. As the investigation unfolded, witnesses began to piece together the chilling events surrounding the couple's tumultuous relationship. The breakthrough came swiftly, near the desolate warehouse where G's lifeless body was discovered. Villagers recounted a haunting scene from the evening of February 25th, when an acrid odor wafted through the air, leading them to a man engaged in a peculiar act. He was seen incinerating a bag, an act not entirely out of place in the rural landscape. Yet, it was his reaction that sent shivers down their spines. In a sudden frenzy, he bolted from the scene, vanishing into the enveloping darkness, leaving the villagers with a sense of foreboding that would linger long after. Initially, the villagers dismissed the peculiar figure, but as they reflected on the events, a chilling realization dawned upon them. This enigmatic man could very well be the murderer they had been discussing. Described as short, overweight, and lacking any athleticism, he seemed an unlikely candidate for a local farmer. This unsettling information was swiftly relayed to the investigative team, yet strangely, no one within the family or the community could pinpoint anyone matching that description. Lay, however, was not one to overlook details. Upon hearing about the charred bag, he passionately urged the authorities to delve deeper, suggesting that this was not merely a crime of passion, but a calculated robbery gone horribly wrong. On that fateful morning of February 25th, the investigators found themselves at a chilling crossroads. Lehi had just sold his prized Bugatti Veyron and handed his parents a staggering 500 million won, around $400,000, in cash, along with a mysterious bag for safekeeping. Just hours later, tragedy struck. His parents were found dead, and a stranger was seen igniting a suspicious bag in the shadows. Was this mere coincidence, or was something far more sinister? As the police delved into the couple's apartment, their worst fears were confirmed. The cash and bag had vanished, and their bank accounts revealed no unusual transactions. Every clue pointed toward a meticulously planned robbery, leaving a trail of questions that begged for answers. Adding to the enigma, only a handful of individuals were aware of Lehi's decision to sell his car, hinting that the perpetrator was someone well acquainted with the family. Yet, a baffling detail emerged. Why was this body meticulously preserved in a refrigerator within a desolate warehouse, while S's remains were left to decay in the apartment? Was this merely a logistical choice, or could it have been a calculated act of vengeance? Investigators speculated that the killer harbored a more profound grudge against SJA. The case took a dramatic twist when an investigator posed a chilling question regarding Lehi. He was wealthy enough to own a lavish estate, yet his parents resided in a nondescript apartment, a curious contradiction that begged for further investigation. As the layers peeled back, a shocking revelation emerged. Lay was not the sole heir. He had an older brother, Ian, whose name echoed with infamy across South Korea. Between 2008 and 2016, Ian had ascended to the heights of fame as a financial prodigy, often compared to the legendary Warren Buffett. But beneath the glitzy exterior lay a sinister web of deceit and fraud. His schemes ensnared thousands, leading them into financial despair, and ultimately his empire crumbled, leaving a haunting trail of devastation in its wake. In the shadowy depths of despair, lives crumbled under the weight of bankruptcy, leading some victims to the tragic decision to end their own existence. It was a haunting thought. Had Han not been behind bars, his victims might have sought revenge, a dark twist that could have sealed his fate. This possibility loomed large, suggesting that those who felt powerless to confront him directly might have redirected their fury toward his unsuspecting parents. Yet, if this theory held any truth, unraveling the mystery of the crime would be an arduous task, complicated by the vast number of souls Han had ensnared in his web of deceit. Amidst this tangled narrative, the officer who had previously identified the threads of this case stood at a crossroads, grappling with the enormity of the situation. As the investigation unfolded, a chilling revelation emerged. Inconsistencies in the case began to surface, pointing to a troubling possibility. Reporter Hyen had intentionally concealed his brother's identity and their intertwined past from the authorities. With this veil of secrecy now lifted, The door was ajar for Hyen to divulge critical information that could propel the investigation forward. The officer's instincts were spot on. When investigators confronted him with candor, Hyen, burdened by emotion, finally chose to speak. In a heart-wrenching confession, he admitted that while some of the illicit funds had been returned after Han's involvement, the shadows of their actions loomed large over the truth. In the shadows of incarceration, the family clung to their wealth, a fortress of cash and assets that allowed them to navigate life under the radar, evading the prying eyes of scrutiny. Initially, Hyen was oblivious to the sinister connection between the murders and his brother's fraudulent dealings, choosing to shield the family from the truth. But as the layers of deception began to peel away, Hyen revealed a curious detail that sent chills down spines. On that fateful night of February 25th, just hours before the bloodshed, he received a cryptic message from his mother via a messaging app. She spoke of an encounter with a charismatic, Harvard-educated businessman named Kim, a name that would soon echo ominously in the unfolding tragedy. In a seemingly mundane exchange, Hyen reached out to Aiko, seeking to arrange a meeting for a potential business collaboration. Hyen, positioned as the primary contact, intended to initiate a casual online chat before progressing to an in-person meeting. But in a twist of fate, Hyen accidentally triggered a video call, which Aiko accepted. For a fleeting moment, Hyen glimpsed Aiko's round, full face, an image that would soon be overshadowed by darker revelations. What initially appeared to be a routine interaction took a sinister turn as forensic reports unveiled a chilling truth. Both victims had met their tragic end on the evening of February 25th. The question loomed ominously. How could Sun have sent messages to Hyen during that fateful time? As the investigation unfolded, two chilling possibilities emerged. Either the forensic team's estimated time of death was flawed, or the individual messaging Hygiene was the murderer. If the latter held true, the man masquerading as Kim Young-go could very well be the killer, his attempt to meet Hygiene potentially a sinister ploy to eliminate him as well. In a desperate bid for answers, investigators crafted a composite sketch of the suspect, meticulously based on Hygiene's harrowing description. This sketch was then shared with Lull, who had spotted a suspicious figure lurking near a warehouse on the fateful night of the murders. Witnesses, shaken by the events, concurred that the sketch bore an uncanny resemblance to the man they had seen. In a chilling twist, the scene unfolded with an individual burning a bag, a striking match to the suspect's physical appearance and build now under scrutiny. As police meticulously reviewed surveillance footage from the crime scene and surrounding areas, they uncovered a web of movements that painted a darker picture. It became evident that this was no solitary act. Three accomplices lurked in the shadows, working in tandem with the ringleader. However, the low image quality hampered their efforts, leaving them only able to identify and apprehend Kim Dawn, who had cunningly impersonated Kim Young-go, shattering their expectations in a most unexpected way. A hardened criminal named Dun Cooper, upon his arrest, revealed a chilling truth. He cooperated fully, confessing to his crimes and divulging the motives that drove him. But Dun's tale was more shocking than the acts he committed. Like many others, he found himself ensnared in Han's web, yet he was no ordinary victim. A man of privilege, he had completed both his bachelor's and master's degrees in the United States and had once thrived with a successful yacht rental business. However, the tides turned in 2017 when his business crumbled, his marriage disintegrated, and he returned to South Korea, resolute in his quest to rebuild his shattered life. Dun poured his hopes into his next venture, but the darkness was already closing in. In a desperate bid to revive his failing business, Dee poured every last asset into a risky relaunch. It was during this tumultuous period that he crossed paths with Han, a man whose wealth and influence captivated him. Dee soon found himself entwined in Han's financial schemes, even going so far as to lend Han's father a staggering 20 million won. roughly $6,000. But when Han's fraudulent empire crumbled, June was left in the dust, bankrupt and seething with rage, unable to exact revenge on Han, who was already behind bars. In a twisted turn of fate, June set his sights on Han's parents, driven by a dark desperation. He claimed to have enlisted the help of 3 young Korean-Chinese men from the depths of the internet, plotting the chilling details of the murders he intended to orchestrate. In the shadowy aftermath of the brutal killings, the hired man executed his grim task while the cleanup unfolded, a chilling orchestration of violence and complicity. The accomplices, sensing the tightening grip of law enforcement, vanished into the depths of China, leaving behind a trail of chaos. Though the police struggled to capture the 3 men, they quickly identified Ji as the mastermind behind the horror. As the case prepared to enter the courtroom, the narrative took an unexpected turn. Instead of the anticipated outrage, the South Korean public rallied around Dawn, advocating for leniency rather than condemnation. This peculiar shift in sentiment revealed deeper currents of empathy and understanding, as the complexities of Han's story began to unravel in the public eye. The fraudulent empire was no ordinary family business. It thrived on deception, with each member intricately woven into its dark tapestry. His parents were far from innocent bystanders. They were key players in this sinister game. His mother, Sancha, donned the guise of a respectable matriarch, frequently appearing on her son's paid channel, luring unsuspecting victims into a web of investment schemes. Despite her conviction for her role in the scheme, Sancha received only a suspended sentence and a fine, a mere slap on the wrist. This shocking revelation shifted the public perception of the elderly couple, igniting a wave of sympathy for Dawn. But just when it seemed the story had reached a climax, another twist awaited, ready to unravel the truth further. In a chilling twist, the 3 alleged accomplices returned to China with shocking accusations against Dee. They painted a picture of Dawn not as a victim seeking revenge, but as a cunning fraudster. According to their gripping testimony, Dunnan lured them in with promises of security jobs, only to later reveal a sinister plan to transport 2 corpses. When the horrifying truth emerged, the men recoiled in terror and fled. Investigators, digging deeper, found no trace of payment from Dawn, validating the men's claims and casting a shadow of doubt over the entire narrative. This revelation sent shockwaves through the case, leaving everyone questioning the true nature of the events that unfolded. In a chilling revelation, Dunn's confession unraveled like a carefully woven tapestry of deceit, revealing a dark revenge motive that lay beneath the surface. Further probing into his life uncovered a sinister truth. For over a year, Dunn had masqueraded as a private detective, meticulously gathering intel on Han's family and their financial dealings. This shocking twist hinted at a deeper, more sinister motive lurking in the shadows, with secrets still waiting to be unearthed. His obsession escalated to the point of stalking, employing tracking devices and wiretaps hidden within the parents' vehicle. On that fateful morning, just hours before the murders, Eugene had handed his parents a staggering $500 million, money procured from the sale of his own assets, setting the stage for a tragedy that would leave everyone reeling. In a twist that could only be described as chilling, the car vanished without a trace. Some might contend that seizing the money while plotting revenge was merely practical, while let an opportunity slip away. Yet, the sequence of events unfolded with an unsettling precision. Was it truly just a coincidence? As the investigation deepened, police stumbled upon a crucial revelation. Hen's Bugatti Veyron had been sold for a staggering sum, $5 billion, $1.2 million given to his parents, $500 million set aside, while he kept $1 billion, roughly $800,000 for himself. If his parents had any inkling of this transaction, Dion could have easily uncovered it through his wiretapping devices. This is precisely why, in the wake of the murders, Dion rushed to meet Eugene. His likely intent? To seize the remaining billion. As he orchestrated this meeting with Eugene, he was simultaneously in contact with a broker, preparing for a swift escape to the Philippines at a moment's notice. As the pieces began to fall into place, the authorities were closing in. It was determined that Dion stood alone as the architect of this heinous act, driven by the dark allure of robbery. The Swan Supreme Court, in a chilling verdict, laid multiple charges at his feet: robbery, murder, corpse disposal, and illegal trespassing. The gavel fell hard, sentencing him to life behind bars during his first trial. Yet, in a twist of fate, he sought to overturn his fate in 2021, only to have the Supreme Court coldly dismiss his appeal, reaffirming the original sentence. Meanwhile, H, having served his time for fraud, had re-entered the world, a stark reminder of the years lost and the haunting legacy of his parents' horrific ordeal. In a tale that twists and turns like a dark alley, one man's journey from tragedy to treachery unfolds. The deaths that should have served as a wake-up call instead faded into the background as he lay low, only to resurface with a chilling new scheme, using Bitcoin to weave a web of deceit. When his nefarious activities were finally exposed, the law caught up with him in September 2023, but in a shocking twist, he was swiftly released on bail. The most haunting aspect of this narrative is how, upon his release, Leon appeared utterly unscathed by the shadows of his past or the loss of his parents. With his remaining fortune, he married a celebrated idol, built a family, and embraced a life of opulence, seemingly untouched by the darkness that once enveloped him. This case unfolds not merely as a tragedy steeped in greed and revenge, but as a chilling reminder of how swiftly humanity can be cast aside in the relentless chase for wealth. Some individuals engage in deceit without a flicker of guilt, while others descend into the depths of murder for financial gain, inflicting wounds that linger within society. On the fateful morning of July 12, 1994, Xia, a construction worker hailing from Jinyu Village in Yong'an Town, T-City, Sichuan Province, China, set out for work as he did every day. Yet, when the evening shadows fell, he returned home to a scene that would forever alter his life. A stark silence where his wife, Sashin, and their 2 sons should have been. Initially, Dee assumed that his wife had taken the children to visit her parents. However, the following day, a chilling revelation came from his neighbor, Mrs. Ma. She shared some unsettling news. Schwachin had borrowed a pair of white plastic sandals from her the previous morning, claiming she was headed to the market. The children, eager to escape the confines of home, insisted on accompanying her. This revelation sent a shiver down Dee's spine, as he felt increasingly certain that his wife and children had indeed gone to her parents' house after their trip to the market. With a sense of urgency, he quickly finished his breakfast and hopped on his bicycle, determined to uncover the truth. In the quiet shadows of an in-law's home, a chilling realization began to dawn on Dee. No one had seen or heard from his family, and with each passing moment, his worry deepened. Desperate for answers, he ventured into the town, questioning the locals at the market. HBL, a familiar face, claimed ignorance, insisting he hadn't seen Schwachin or the boys. But then, a glimmer of hope emerged from a fellow villager named T. Yinko. T recounted a fateful encounter on the very day Schwachin vanished. She had crossed paths with Dee's 2 sons, Xiaoyan Wai and Xiao Yongwan, who were idly perched on a roadside bench. C had extended an invitation for them to return to Jianyu Village, but what happened next remains shrouded in mystery. In a quiet village, an older boy named Young Yong made a fateful decision. He declined to explain to those around him, stating they were waiting for their mother. C, with that, he ventured off alone, armed only with the weight of his knowledge. Meanwhile, D and his relatives returned to the market, retracing the boy's steps, but their search yielded nothing out of the ordinary. Yet, Whispers began to circulate, casting shadows of suspicion on nearby households rumored to harbor individuals involved in the dark world of child abduction. Among them was a man known as Boy Jan, or Ban, as the locals called him. Despite a thorough investigation of his property, the police uncovered no evidence linking him to the disappearance of Schwachin or the boys. With no solid leads to follow, the case hung in the air, heavy with unanswered questions and lingering dread. Classified as a voluntary disappearance, this case unfolded in a time when such events were tragically common in rural areas. The police, overwhelmed and under-resourced, could do little more than file the reports. Devastated, Dee embarked on a relentless search, cycling through the haunting landscapes day after day, each turn of the wheel fueled by hope and despair. In his darkest moments, he began to suspect his in-laws, convinced they were hiding the truth, even as they too were consumed by grief. As the weeks turned into months, T's desperation morphed into a heavy burden, leading him to seek solace in alcohol, yet the shadows of his loss lingered, refusing to fade away. Tragedy cast a long shadow over his family, as his mother fell ill and succumbed to her ailments just 6 months later. Heartbroken by the disappearance of her grandchildren, his father, equally shattered, met his end after a fall that left him with fatal injuries. In the depths of despair, Dee came to terms with the grim reality that he might never lay eyes on his wife and children again. In the pages of his family genealogy book, he inscribed 2 haunting notes. For his eldest son, Young, born in 1994, taken by mother, disappeared, and for his youngest, Yuan, also born in 1994, taken by mother, disappeared. Years drifted by, but the weight of loss remained palpable. It was an ordinary morning, one that would soon spiral into the extraordinary. 18 years had passed, a lifetime filled with unanswered questions, when the phone rang. On the other end, the local police delivered news that would shatter the mundane. They believed they had found his eldest son. Confusion washed over him, but it was quickly eclipsed by a wave of overwhelming emotion. Without a moment's hesitation, he boarded a flight back to Sichuan, driven by the hope of reuniting with a young man who had been identified as his long-lost child. DNA tests confirmed the truth. This young man was indeed Xiao Yongyong. But as the reunion unfolded, a chilling question lingered in the air. Where had Yongyong been for those 18 long years? What dark twists of fate had befallen him and his brother, Yongquan? According to Yongyong, the story began with a journey alongside their mother. On that fateful day at the market, a man beckoned Shin into a roadside shop, a seemingly innocuous gesture that would soon spiral into horror. The brothers waited outside, their curiosity piqued by the sudden eruption of loud music from within. When they finally ventured inside, they were met with a scene that would haunt them forever. Their mother, helplessly pinned down by a man, while another injected her with a syringe before mercilessly stabbing her in the back. The brothers' world shattered as they were dragged into a dark basement beneath the shop. Yongyong, desperate to escape with Yongwan, fought against the grim fate that awaited them, but their efforts were in vain. Yongwan was taken away, never to return, leaving Yongyong to face an uncertain future alone. In a tale woven with the threads of identity and memory, an adoptive father was bestowed a new name, far removed from the echoes of his past. Years slipped by, but the shadows of Yongyong's hometown began to claw their way back into his consciousness, compelling him to seek out the family he had lost. The emotional reunion was a bittersweet affair, offering Dao a semblance of closure, yet leaving a trail of unanswered questions about Shitan and Yongquan. Nestled beside the old house where Suong had once played in the innocence of childhood stood a pampo forest, a silent witness to the passage of time. Behind the house lay 2 ponds, their waters reflecting the laughter of a boy who often stumbled into their depths, emerging caked in mud, a vivid reminder of carefree days. Another haunting memory lingered in the form of a small bridge, a threshold he crossed countless times, each step echoing the unspoken stories of his early years. Every day, as he made his way to school, a small stream meandered beneath the bridge. It was here that Swang and his brother would catch fish and crabs, their laughter echoing through the air, a stark contrast to the shadows that now loomed over their memories. Years later, volunteers began their relentless search across Sichuan, driven by the haunting mystery of missing persons. 18 long years had slipped by since Su Yang's abduction, and the landscape had transformed, obscuring the past. The task of pinpointing the exact location based on Su Yang's faded recollections of the scenery from his youth became an arduous challenge. In a desperate bid to unlock more memories of his hometown, volunteers rallied around Suong, hoping to piece together the fragments of a life interrupted. He journeyed to Sichuan, retracing the steps of a past shrouded in mystery, guided by fragmented memories that flickered like shadows in his mind. One name emerged with haunting clarity: G Street, a place his mother had often whispered about. Following this elusive lead, the volunteers unearthed a location in BYU town, leading them to Gannon City, Sichuan. As they navigated the terrain, Suong and the volunteers approached the locals, probing for recollections of a chilling case from the early 1990s, a mother and her two sons who had vanished without a trace. Yet, as they delved deeper, the silence was deafening. No one seemed to remember. Their relentless pursuit eventually led them to the enigmatic Ball Village, a place that held secrets of its own. At the local police station, a committee of dedicated staff worked tirelessly, their cooperation evident but ultimately fruitless in the search for a family that matched Suong's unique circumstances. For 7 grueling days, Suong and a band of volunteers combed through every corner of Duanan City. Each morning dawned with a flicker of hope, only to be extinguished by the harsh reality of disappointment as night fell, leaving them empty-handed. With heavy hearts, Suong returned to Pon Phuan province, seeking any clues about his abduction from his adoptive father. Jinshi, just when it seemed all was lost, an unexpected phone call shattered the silence, bringing news from a middle-aged woman in Shikam County, Sichuan, that would change everything. In a province known as Sha, a call was made to the volunteers, igniting a quest to uncover a secret that had lain dormant for 18 long years. Xiaoan, a mother of 2 sons, began to recount a heart-wrenching tale from mid-October 1993, a time when her eldest son, Wan Gang, vanished without a trace after school. Despite her relentless efforts and the involvement of the police, no clues emerged, leaving her in a fog of despair. Yet, Xiaoan's spirit remained unbroken. She clung to hope, tirelessly following news of missing persons and collaborating with organizations like Baby Come Home. Then, in early September 2012, a flicker of possibility appeared when Xiaoan stumbled upon an article detailing Suong's own search for answers. In a twist of fate that would send shivers down anyone's spine, a mother clung to the hope that a stranger might be her long-lost son. She reached out to the volunteers, desperate for answers. But as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that this young man, Suong, was entangled in a different family's tragedy, the Sha family from Yongxing Town. The volunteers, driven by a sense of urgency, contacted the local police, who confirmed the chilling truth. 3 members of the Sha family had vanished years prior from Jingo Village. The story began to capture the attention of the community, and on that fateful day, September 11th, 2012, the villagers of Shiko gathered, their hearts heavy with anticipation, to witness the emotional reunion that would unfold before their eyes. In a dimly lit room, Father Duo Suong, now known as Yong Yong, sat with old photographs scattered before him. Images of a happier time, filled with the laughter of his mother and brother. Overcome with emotion, he began to recount the chilling tale of his abduction, each word heavy with the weight of lost years. Tufu, listening with rapt attention, made a solemn vow. Son, I will find your brother and mother. That is my only wish. Later that same afternoon, the two men made their way to the Shikang County Police Bureau, where the officers confirmed the grim reality of Yongyang's kidnapping. Yet, they needed more evidence to piece together the fragmented memories of that fateful day 18 years ago. The investigation had only just begun. On September 13th, 2012, the relentless pursuit of justice led police investigators to the heart of Puyin City in Fuan Province, where they sought to unravel the mystery surrounding Yongyang's abduction. Accompanying them was Yongyang himself, a young boy caught in a web of deceit. Under pressure, Jin Ji confessed to paying a staggering 5,800 yuan, approximately $850, to a middleman, a chilling revelation that pointed the way to Kong Village in BYU Town. There, they encountered a man named Wang Chan. While admitting to facilitating Yongyang's adoption, vehemently denied any involvement in the kidnapping. But as the investigation deepened, a shocking twist emerged. Wang Chan and his wife had also fallen victim to a sinister plot, their own lives entwined in the dark narrative of abduction and betrayal. As a child, she recounted chilling memories of other children being brought to Wang Chan's home. Following these harrowing leads, police unearthed a man named Johann Bosen, a figure with a dark past, a 6-year prison sentence for child trafficking. Among Shan's accomplices was Buan, a suspect entangled in the case of Yongyang. It was believed that Shang and Buan had meticulously orchestrated the kidnapping of Yongyang and his brother. During the tense interrogation, Buan confessed to the abduction but remained tight-lipped about the whereabouts of Yongyang's mother, leaving a haunting silence in the air. In a chilling twist of fate, Shaheen implicated a third accomplice, Lil Dingy, who would soon find himself behind bars. Under the weight of his confession, Lil unraveled the harrowing tale of July 12, 1994. It was on that dreadful day that Pa had concocted a sinister scheme to lure unsuspecting children into his shop. With a facade of innocence, he invited Chuan and her 2 sons inside, masking his true intentions. While Shaheen lurked within, Leo cranked up the volume on a cassette player, drowning out the sounds of impending horror. In a brutal struggle, he strangled Chuan, and in a frenzy of violence, Bu plunged a knife into her, ending her life. The gruesome aftermath saw her dismembered body hidden away, buried deep in the soil of his vegetable garden, a dark secret concealed beneath the earth. In a chilling tale of betrayal and despair, 2 brothers, Yongyang and Yongwan, found themselves imprisoned in a dark basement, their fates sealed as they were sold into the clutches of human traffickers. As the investigation unfolded, police unearthed the grim location of Shuat Chin's remains, recovering fragments that would ultimately lead to the confirmation of her identity through DNA testing, offering a sliver of closure in a haunting case. The harrowing truth emerged. Yongwan had been sold multiple times, his journey culminating with a family that stripped him of his past, renaming him Win F. Yet, in a twist of fate, the authorities managed to reunite Yongyang with his brother in Beijing, a poignant moment that fulfilled a promise to seek justice for their shattered family. Nearly 2 decades of unimaginable pain culminated on March 20th, 2013, when Yongyang finally reunited Ed with his long-lost brother, Yangon, bringing him back to their hometown in Sichuan after 19 long years. The case, shrouded in mystery and heartache, was resolved, and the 2 brothers returned home to their aging father. Defo, if Yongyang, the eldest son, had not managed to find his way back, the truth might have remained hidden forever. Then, on August 14, 2014, the 2 City Intermediate People's Court delivered its initial verdict. Bochan was sentenced to death for intentional homicide and child. In a chilling tale of crime and consequence, Bogon found himself ensnared in a web of kidnapping alongside his accomplice, Ludinka. The court's gavel struck hard, sentencing them both to life imprisonment, a grim fate that echoed through the courtroom. They were also ordered to pay a staggering compensation of 897 yuan, roughly $7,500, to the victims, a sum that felt like a mere drop in the ocean of their misdeeds. Unsatisfied with the verdict, the duo wasted no time in appealing their sentences. But on April 20th, 2015, the Sichuan Province High People's Court delivered a crushing blow, upholding the original sentences and dismissing their appeals without hesitation. Meanwhile, another accomplice, Shan Gishian, faced his own reckoning. On November 24th, 2014, he was sentenced to 11 years in prison by the Xian County People's Court for his role in the heinous act of kidnapping women and children, a dark chapter in a story that would leave a lasting mark on all involved. In a tale woven with threads of loss and resilience, the family found themselves grappling with the aftermath of a tumultuous past. They unearthed a sum of 10,000 yuan, roughly $1,500, as authorities relentlessly pursued the remnants of his illicit gains. After a bittersweet reunion, Yong made the choice to return to the gemstone workshop in Sioux City, while their elderly father, Xia Defu, and his new wife sought solace in the familiar embrace of Zhou village, tending to ducks and laboring in the fields. Meanwhile, the younger brother, Xia Yungan, ventured to the bustling streets of Beijing, carving out a new life. Though the family had come together once more, they remained scattered across 3 different locations, haunted by the echoes of the life they had known for 18 long years. It was a fateful afternoon in August 1967 when chaos erupted at the Taiyuan District Police Station. A man, drenched in sweat, burst through the doors, his eyes wide with terror. His name was Shan Qinchan, and as he struggled to catch his breath, he delivered a confession that would leave the officers in stunned silence. Last night, he gasped, "I was forced to help bury 2 bodies." This chilling revelation would soon unravel a horrifying tale of murder at Chai Heart Garden, a mannequin factory nestled at 51 King Road. The owner, Wang Wan, stood accused of a heinous crime, murdering his own wife. Apprentice Chin Chan recounted a chilling tale of coercion, revealing how he was forced to assist in the grim task of disposing of bodies buried deep within the factory's basement. At first, the police were skeptical. The notion of human remains concealed amidst a sea of artificial mannequins felt like a plot twist from a horror film, particularly in a bustling commercial district of Taiyu. Yet, something about Chin Chan's demeanor caught the officers' attention, an unsettling hint of mental instability that raised their suspicions. Despite their initial doubts, the police embarked on an investigation, guided by the reluctant apprentice's unsettling narrative. They stepped into the charred garden, a 4-story edifice that held secrets within its walls. On the 2nd floor, a beauty salon buzzed with life, while the upper levels housed unsuspecting tenants. The ground floor and basement, however, were home to a mannequin factory, a place that the neighbors spoke of as a bustling enterprise, rarely shuttered, even on holidays. But just 2 days prior, an unusual sight greeted passers-by, a closed sign hanging ominously on the door, stirring whispers of suspicion. When the police arrived, they found reporters already gathered, their curiosity piqued. After a series of unanswered knocks, the officers forced the door open, stepping into the ground floor, where the air was thick with unanswered questions. They stumbled upon mannequins, yet the absence of foul play loomed ominously. As they descended into the basement, a chilling tableau awaited them. Mannequin parts strewn haphazardly, the air heavy with the acrid scent of isopropyl alcohol, a remnant of production. This chaotic scene led investigators to doubt Jan's narrative, pondering whether toxic fumes had warped his perception. But Qinchan, visibly shaken, pointed them toward a particular section of the concrete floor. Despite its seemingly undisturbed surface, a mound of freshly excavated soil lay hidden in the bathroom, whispering secrets of its own. As the workers ascended with their tools, the seemingly innocuous construction materials, cement and sand, hinted at a darker truth lurking beneath the surface. The police, fueled by their growing suspicions, summoned a team equipped for the grim task ahead. With each shovelful of earth, the tension mounted, and then, like a chilling revelation, they unearthed a solitary glove. But that was just the beginning. Digging deeper, they stumbled upon human hair, accompanied by the unmistakable stench of decay that hung heavy in the air, a harbinger of the horrors that lay buried below. Positioned by the witching hour, 11 p.m., in a chilling discovery, two bodies were unearthed. A woman, devoid of any visible injuries, and a man whose neck bore the telltale signs of strangulation. The grim scene revealed the bodies stacked in a bed, the woman positioned atop the man. The victims were soon identified as Swan Wong, the wife of Lin, and Jing Guang, an apprentice. Autopsy results would later confirm asphyxiation as the cause of death, but it was Swan's shaved head that raised unsettling questions. As the investigation unfolded, police confronted a critical oversight. They had failed to detain one individual who had managed to flee, a blunder that only deepened their embarrassment. Whispers of roar suggested he had watched the excavation from the shadows, cloaked in disguise, as investigators pieced together the dark puzzle before them. In a tale woven with tension and despair, a skilled craftsman found himself ensnared in the throes of a tumultuous marriage. The air was thick with accusations when he confronted his wife, claiming she had pilfered 2,000 NTT $65. What began as a verbal clash spiraled into a violent confrontation, culminating in a shocking act of aggression. He shaved her head just 3 days before the fateful day of August 3rd. On that day, a chilling announcement echoed through the workshop. He had pinpointed the thief among them, granting all employees an unexpected week off. Little did they know, as the apprentices reveled in their sudden reprieve, the police would soon darken their doorsteps, drawn into a web of intrigue as the investigation unfolded. Officers focused intently on the victim's face, their eyes scanning for any hint of the dark conflicts that had unfolded. The first stop was Guan's family, who revealed a chilling confession. Before his untimely death, Guan had shared his fears about his employer's suspicions of an affair with the wife of one man. Tensions escalated when one man had brutally beaten Guan. Yet despite his parents' desperate pleas to leave the job, Guan remained steadfast, convinced that abandoning his post would only deepen the shadows of guilt surrounding him. The investigators then turned their attention to one man's family, where his sister, W. Shah, unveiled critical details that would unravel the web of deceit and betrayal. In a tale woven with betrayal and deceit, she unveiled a troubled past that would haunt her forever. For years prior, while her husband was away for military training, Swan found herself entangled in an affair with a neighbor, a pharmacist whose intentions were anything but pure. This man not only sullied Swan's husband's reputation, but also manipulated her into administering a substance that, while not lethal, stripped him of his manhood. As the days turned into weeks, her husband began to notice alarming sexual dysfunction. Yet despite consulting a myriad of doctors, the root of his affliction remained a mystery. The plot thickened when the pharmacist, emboldened by his previous actions, sought to exploit Swan further, plunging them deeper into a web of treachery. In a chilling twist of fate, she was coaxed into a life she never wanted, urged to take on the role of a hostess at a bar. But Swan, sensing the danger, refused and severed ties, marking a pivotal moment in her life. The weight of her choices bore down on her, compelling her to lay bare the truth to her husband. Outrage erupted when men reported the pharmacist to the authorities, igniting a firestorm of legal repercussions. Yet, the sting of betrayal lingered, leaving an indelible mark on her soul. In a haunting revelation, Sheena recounted how one man had borrowed a staggering $5,000 NDT, around $165, before vanishing without a trace. She had handed over the money without a second thought, a decision that would haunt her as the shadows of deceit closed in around her. As the investigators delved deeper into the chilling case, they began to unravel a motive that sent shivers down their spines. One man, still tormented by the betrayal of his wife's infidelity, spiraled into a dark paranoia, convinced that she was entangled in an affair with Guan. This suspicion, while hauntingly plausible, lingered in the shadows of uncertainty, unconfirmed yet deeply unsettling. The hunt was now on for this man, a figure the police believed would be easy to capture for three compelling reasons. He had no connections to organized crime. He fled with a mere pittance of cash, and the unforgiving geography of Taiwan's islands rendered escape nearly impossible. Yet, the enigmatic role of Gon loomed large in the unfolding drama. Jean, the alleged accomplice, added a layer of complexity to the unfolding narrative. Why had he confessed? Was he coerced? Or did he willingly assist in concealing the murders, only to later experience a change of heart? The police divided their efforts, with one team focused on tracking down one man, while the other interrogated Jean. During the questioning, he provided a chilling account of that fateful day, August 4th. He recounted how one man arrived at his doorstep, visibly distressed, claiming his wife had been missing for 2 days. This man, desperate and convincing, persuaded Jean to join the search for her. But as they made their way to the factory, the story took a darker turn. In a chilling turn of events, a man secured the gate and revealed the dark truth. He had taken the lives of both his wife and another individual. The apprentice Jean recounted a harrowing tale, alleging that a man had coerced him into assisting with the grim task of transporting the bodies from the bedroom to the basement. They then proceeded to fill the precog hole with cement, a grueling endeavor that extended into the early hours of the morning. Jean described a narrow escape, seizing the moment when one of the men was momentarily distracted and dashed to his brother's house in search of refuge. But the nightmare was far from over. One man tracked him down, forcing Jean to flee once more. Ultimately, he reached the police station, where he bravely reported the horrific crime, his testimony a haunting echo of the events that unfolded. As the investigation unfolded, the evidence found at the scene began to paint a troubling picture. Inconsistencies emerged, raising unsettling questions about the narrative presented. A strong blacksmith, a figure of formidable strength, seemed an unlikely candidate to be overpowered by a man of much smaller stature. Moreover, one of the men had already taken on the daunting task of digging the burial hole alone, the most challenging aspect of concealing the bodies. Why, then, would he involve another in the already perilous endeavor of moving the remains? These points cast a shadow of doubt over Ken's claims of coercion. Under further interrogation, G's story began to unravel. He confessed, not to being forced, but rather lured by the promise of money from one of the men, revealing a conscience that had been weighed down by his choices. Later, the pressure mounted, compelling him to confess. Investigators unearthed a troubling history of mental health issues linked to a car accident that had severely impaired his cognitive abilities. Adding to the complexity, he was connected to one man through family ties, shedding light on why this man might have selected him as an accomplice. Yet, amidst these revelations, skepticism loomed over the reliability of Gon Chin's statements, casting shadows due to his fragile mental state. Capturing the elusive one man became paramount, a desperate race to unravel the tangled web of truth. The police's confidence in the imminent breakthrough hung in the balance. As the investigation began to stall, the sense of urgency in the air grew thick with frustration. Search efforts spanned across Taipei and even extended to other regions like Taichung, Yet one man continued to slip through their fingers. Just when hope seemed to fade, a new twist emerged in the tale. A man named White Gongon stepped forward, reporting that his wife, Hang, had vanished without a trace. He suspected that her disappearance was somehow intertwined with the family of one Mang, who operated a wick-making business and frequently collaborated with one Mang's mannequin factory. Eyewitnesses began to piece together the puzzle, recalling the chilling sight of Lon riding away on one Mang's motorcycle, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. On that fateful day when he disappeared, a search of the factory unearthed intimate photographs of Luang nestled among a man's possessions, hinting at a relationship that ran deeper than mere acquaintance. Investigators pieced together the unsettling truth. Liang had seemingly left of her own volition, accompanied by this man, taking her ID and cash with her. The case spiraled into a labyrinth of complexity, as the police found themselves not only in pursuit of a fugitive murderer, but also his accomplice, who had become his lover. Their story gripped the nation, transforming into one of Taiwan's most infamous sagas, as the public held its breath, eagerly anticipating the moment of their capture. The police found themselves under intense scrutiny, a relentless demand for justice echoing through the community. Despite their tireless efforts, the elusive whereabouts of one man and El Wong remained shrouded in mystery. Whispers of their possible hiding spots circulated, stretching from the southern reaches of Taiwan to the central regions, and even as far as Sanjian. Yet, the authorities were left with no concrete leads. Initially, investigators believed that by severing the fugitives' access to bank accounts and cutting off family support, the meager sum of 5,000 new Taiwan dollars one man had taken would dwindle, compelling them to emerge from the shadows. As the tension mounted, warnings were issued, but the hunt continued in the dark corners of uncertainty. In the shadowy aftermath of the brutal murders, newspapers blared warnings that anyone harboring the elusive couple would face serious charges for aiding criminals. Yet, despite these dire threats, the couple remained hidden, leaving law enforcement in a state of mounting frustration. On August 16th, a full 10 days after the heinous acts, police intercepted a letter that revealed a chilling twist. A man had penned a heartfelt plea to his father. The front of the letter, written in Chinese, tugged at the heartstrings, appealing for sympathy for his 5 children and requesting 2,000 ND for living expenses. But the back of the letter told a different story. Inscribed in Japanese, it coldly instructed his father not to send any money. This cunning deception preyed upon the vulnerabilities of El Wong's father, weaving a web of manipulation that deepened the mystery surrounding the case. In a chilling twist of fate, the police, unable to decipher the Japanese text, made the bold decision to unveil the contents of the letter to the press. Their aim? To sow discord among the fugitives. Investigators believe that exposing one man's treachery might just be the catalyst needed to make Liang reconsider her desperate flight and return to the safety of home. In a calculated move to sway her, the police assisted her husband, Keenan, in publishing an open letter in the local newspaper, offering a promise of forgiveness should she choose to come back. The heart-wrenching cries of their eldest daughter echoed through the pages, pleading, "Mom, my sister and brother are crying, and I miss you so much." Yet, despite these desperate attempts to reach her, Liang remained elusive, a ghost slipping further into the shadows of her choices. As the days dragged on, the couple remained hidden, their frustration palpable in the air. Questions swirled like dark clouds over the police's ability to bring them to justice. On August 24th, authorities took a desperate step, offering a reward of 30,000 NTD, roughly $750, for any information that could lead to the arrest of one elusive man. Yet, the neighbors were quick to point out a glaring flaw. The photo of El Wong that the police had released was outdated, a relic from a time after the birth of her fifth child when she appeared heavier. Now, she was a shadow of her former self, much thinner, rendering the image nearly useless. In a bid to regain control of the narrative, the police released further details, revealing that one man was grappling with a condition that required him to. As the summer sun blazed down, a peculiar trend began to emerge across Taiwan. Herbal tea stalls became a hive of activity, drawing in crowds eager to sip on the refreshing brews. But beneath this seemingly innocent summer ritual lay a darker narrative, one that had captivated the public's attention. Despite receiving over 160 tips, none proved to be the breakthrough that investigators desperately sought. Just when hope seemed to dwindle, a letter arrived on August 30th, sent by a man shrouded in mystery. He poured out his soul to a local newspaper, revealing his life as a fugitive, yearning for a reunion with his family. In a chilling confession, he admitted to assaulting his wife, Swan, and the practitioner, Guang, yet he vehemently denied any intent to kill. The plot thickened and the shadows deepened as the truth hung tantalizingly close, yet just out of reach. In a chilling turn of events, one man, fully aware of the gravity of her injuries, made a desperate promise. He would surrender if his letter found its way into the newspaper. The following day, the letter was indeed published, and as the clock struck 11 p.m., he kept his word. One man and L. Long stepped into the night, ready to face the consequences of their actions. On August 31st, they strolled into the police station hand in hand, an image of calm that belied their fugitive status. Surprisingly, they looked clean and tidy, a stark contrast to the typical portrayal of those on the run. As the story unfolded, it was revealed that they had been hiding in a house near the Nanman police station in China City. One man had even taken to selling purple tea daily, cleverly disguised with a conical hat and riding a bicycle, blending into the mundane life around him while evading capture. During the chilling interrogation, the men confessed to assaulting Swan, a brutal act that ultimately led to her death from untreated injuries. Yet, they vehemently denied any involvement in Guang's murder, instead casting blame on Jingan, the whistleblower. One man recounted a week prior to the tragedy, he had noticed 2,000 NTD missing, leading him to suspect Swan of theft. In his frantic search, he stumbled upon a bottle of perfume, a supposed gift from a lover, igniting a firestorm of jealousy and suspicion. In a fit of rage, one man bound Swan and unleashed a savage beating, leaving her in a state of despair on that fateful day, July 31st, when Wang brought food to the injured. In a tale woven with jealousy and betrayal, the air thickened with suspicion as men observed the clandestine conversations between Swan and Guan. Fueled by their doubts, one man unleashed a torrent of violence, tying up and mercilessly beating Guan. Yet, the truth, as revealed by Guan's family, painted a different picture. Swan had sought help to escape the clutches of abuse. Despite the warnings echoing from his loved ones, Wang chose to confront the aggressor, desperate to clear his name. In a twisted turn of fate, he accused L Man's brother-in-law, Jingan, of the very affair that had ignited the flames of conflict. What followed was a brutal clash, culminating in the tragic deaths of Guan and Swan. One man, entangled in the aftermath, claimed that he and Jing had buried the bodies together, but he insisted it was Jing who had taken Guan's life. Jingan, however, vehemently denied the accusations, leaving a chilling uncertainty hanging in the air. In a chilling tale of betrayal and bloodshed, the narrative unfolds with a man who claimed he merely assisted in the disposal of the bodies. Yet the forensic evidence painted a different picture, revealing that Guang had met his end through strangulation, a detail that starkly contradicted one of the men's accounts. The courtroom drama commenced on October 18, 1967, as the gavel fell, sentencing one man to death for the heinous murder of San. The proceedings were fraught with tension as the court grappled with the fate of Jean Gong, initially declared innocent. Over the course of 9 long years, Jing H's verdict swung like a pendulum between guilty and innocent. Finally, on March 16, 1976, the Supreme Court delivered its damning verdict, declaring Jean guilty, bolstered by prison confessions and his inexplicable choice to remain at the scene of the crime. As the chilling tale unfolds, we find ourselves grappling with the evidence of his involvement. Once he had finished the grim task of disposing of the body, the judge's piercing questions lingered in the air. If he was truly innocent, why hadn't he fled? This doubt cast a long shadow over his claims of innocence. Ultimately, the court rendered its verdict, finding him guilty of intentional homicide, and he was sentenced to life behind bars. Meanwhile, another man, caught in the web of this dark saga, faced a different fate. After 9 grueling years of trial, his death sentence was upheld, and he met his end by firing squad. Yet, in the days that followed the final verdict, the public's interest had waned, leaving L's fate to fade into obscurity. As the investigation unfolded, attention turned to the woman who had vanished, leaving behind her 5 children. The community buzzed with questions, grappling with the shocking choice of a mother to abandon her family for a man who had just committed the unthinkable, murdering his wife and fleeing the scene. Delving deeper, it became clear that L. Wong and this man were not strangers. They were childhood sweethearts, bound by a shared passion for painting and a connection that once seemed unbreakable. Yet, L's marriage to Guan had spiraled into discontent, setting the stage for a fateful decision. It was July 9th, 2007, at precisely 5:30 p.m., when the story took a dark turn. A massive explosion erupted on a road in Chinan City, Shandong Province, China, sending shockwaves through the area. The blast obliterated a car, scattering the driver's remains across nearby storefronts, with gruesome fragments clinging to the glass. A taxi, caught in the fiery aftermath, left its driver severely injured, while a fruit vendor was struck by flying debris, requiring more than 10 stitches to mend the wounds. Chaos reigned as bystanders speculated wildly. Was this a tragic accident or the result of a catastrophic fuel tank explosion? The air thick with tension, the police arrived swiftly, ready to uncover the truth behind such a harrowing event. 1 life lost, another pedestrian left injured, and a scene marred by the wreckage of a taxi and other vehicles. Investigators were faced with a chilling question. Was this merely a tragic accident, or was there a darker motive lurking beneath the surface? As they plunged deeper into the investigation, the evidence began to paint a grim picture. This was no random explosion. It was a calculated act of murder executed with TNT, a military-grade explosive tightly controlled and rarely seen in civilian life. The victim, a 31-year-old woman named Ling, held a prominent position as a senior political figure at the China Municipal Land Resources Bureau. The unfolding story of her demise was just beginning to unravel. The city was gripped by a chilling horror as news of a horrific death spread like wildfire. The investigation intensified, and the question loomed large. Who could possess such a deep-seated hatred to murder a government official in such a savage way? As detectives delved deeper, their search for answers led them to an unexpected clue: a shattered mobile phone and a remote control device, carelessly discarded in a trash can near the crime scene. Cross-referencing with telecom providers, they uncovered the identity of the phone's owner, Jean, a 50-year-old deputy team leader in the China Municipal Public Security Bureau. This revelation only thickened the air of suspicion surrounding the case. In a chilling turn of events, a police car was discovered near the scene just moments before the explosion rocked the area. This vehicle, belonging to the Chin Ji security team, became a focal point for investigators. Forensic analysis revealed traces of explosive residues within the car, casting a shadow of suspicion on the deputy team leader. As the investigation deepened, intimate photographs of the victim surfaced, depicting her with a man who was later identified as Danon E., the director of the Standing Committee of the Chin Municipal People's Congress. With this revelation, 3 suspects emerged from the shadows: the victim's ex-husband, Gene, and others yet to be unveiled. Danon and each suspect harbored their own potential motives, but the investigation took a chilling twist when it was uncovered that Chin was also his nephew-in-law. This revelation cast a dark shadow over the unfolding conspiracy. Just days later, Gene found himself in handcuffs, and after a gripping interrogation, he confessed to orchestrating the explosion, laying bare his role in the murder. The investigation then shifted its focus to a high-ranking official, leading to a dramatic arrest by a team from the Provincial Discipline Inspection Commission, Public Security, and the Provincial Procuratorate. Under intense questioning, he confessed to orchestrating the explosion, revealing a chilling mix of regret for his method, but not for the act itself. His disdain for the victim was palpable, as he recounted how their affair, which had ignited 14 years prior, had devolved into a cauldron of bitter hatred. His life story was one of struggle and ambition. Born in 1946, he clawed his way out of poverty to become a successful and respected official, earning admiration from his peers for his integrity. But everything shifted when Ling entered his life in 1996. The 18-year-old Liu, initially hired to care for him, would become the catalyst for his downfall. His transfer Fra Jin, with her kindness and care, drew him in like a moth to a flame. Their relationship, despite the significant age gap, swiftly morphed into an affair. He wielded his influence to elevate her life, showering her with luxury, opulent apartments, and coveted positions within government agencies. Yet, as greed took hold, he found himself spiraling down a dark path of corruption. The affair, once thrilling, turned toxic when whispers of his misdeeds reached his wife. She implored him to end it, but the damage was already done. What began as a secret liaison ultimately unraveled into a tragedy, tarnishing the reputation of a man once deemed incorruptible. Once an official, now a man consumed by rage towards his former lover. The murder unfolded as the tragic climax of a twisted romance. What began as a love story spiraled into a tale of bitter hatred. Despite his vows to sever all ties, he continued to deceive the public, secretly maintaining their illicit affair. Even after marrying a doctor, the relationship remained shrouded in secrecy. Ironically, the doctor soon uncovered the betrayal and filed for divorce, triggering the collapse of both AI's family and Hing's marriage. The sense of betrayal drove Hing to a dark and desperate place. In a world where love seemed just out of reach, she turned to the allure of material wealth, hoping to fill the void left by his indifference. Her desire for lavish gifts grew, a desperate attempt to secure her future in a life that felt increasingly empty. By 2006, her demands had escalated as she sought a lifestyle dripping in luxury. A spacious apartment and a brand new car, the very symbols of success and power. This was the same car and apartment she inhabited at the time of the fateful explosion. But her ambition was not merely about accumulating possessions. It was fueled by a simmering resentment towards his refusal to commit, to marry, leaving her to chase after the tangible in a bid to reclaim some semblance of control over her life. She had long harbored dreams of stepping out of the shadows, yearning to transition from a clandestine lover to the rightful wife. Yet, AI had never envisioned her as his legitimate partner, a revelation that ignited fierce arguments between them. Feeling undervalued, Ping resorted to using their secret liaison as a bargaining chip, threatening to unveil their affair. This provoked AI, who perceived her threats as a direct assault on the empire he had meticulously constructed. The looming dread of exposure morphed into a chilling resolve to neutralize the threat. In his desperation, AI turned to his nephew-in-law, Jinji, a man whose career was intricately tied to AI's unwavering support, making him a crucial ally in this darkening tale. In the shadowy depths of 2007, a chilling partnership began to form, one that would forever alter the lives of those involved. The Lunar New Year brought together two unlikely figures, AI and Jinji, who, with a sinister glint in their eyes, plotted a dark course of action. Jinji, a former military engineer, was the perfect accomplice for such a nefarious scheme. Their initial thoughts danced around the idea of staging a traffic accident, but the plan quickly unraveled, revealing its impracticality. Instead, Jinji suggested a far more explosive solution, literally. With AI's unwavering support, Jinji leveraged his connections to procure TNT, a substance tightly regulated and shrouded in secrecy. For days, they meticulously perfected the explosive device, each moment steeped in the anticipation of what was to come, as they edged closer to erasing all traces of their impending crime. On that fateful afternoon of July 9th, a chilling scene unfolded. Jinji and his partner in crime, John Bing, meticulously placed a bomb in Hing's car, a vehicle parked in a spot she often frequented. With a sense of anticipation, they left the scene, waiting for Hing to drive by, unaware of the dark turn their actions would take. But fate had other plans. An observant elderly woman in the neighborhood caught sight of John Bing's suspicious behavior and took note of the license plate, a detail that would prove crucial. Moments later, the bomb detonated with a deafening roar, obliterating the car and claiming Hing's life, while a nearby street vendor became an unintended victim of this tragic explosion. As the investigation unfolded, the keen observations of an elderly woman became pivotal. On July 13th, Jinji was taken into custody, where he confessed to the crime and divulged a list of his associates. The trial unearthed shocking details. AI had exploited his influence to accumulate a staggering fortune, with cash and assets totaling around $250,000. Then, a bomb explosion shattered the facade, exposing a web of corruption that ensnared government officials, causing the investigation to expand dramatically. In the midst of this chaos, Chong Bing stepped forward, revealing even more unsettling truths. She was no mere pawn, but a figure with sharp instincts, honed by the countless storms she had weathered. A year before her fate was sealed, she sensed the tragic end looming ahead. She warned her family, declaring that if she were to die, it would surely be at the hands of AI. Meanwhile, AI was convinced that his influence would allow him to dismiss the incident as nothing more than a tragic accident, a fuel tank explosion ignited by the intense heat. Little did he know, his own demise was just 59 days away, a cruel twist of fate following the explosion that would soon unravel his carefully laid plans. Arrested, he found himself facing a fate he never saw coming, a death sentence. He had clung to the hope of rehabilitation, dreaming of a peaceful twilight in his later years. Throughout the grueling hours of interrogation, he maintained an unsettling calm, even sharing the intricate tapestry of his 61 years of life. In stark contrast, the three perpetrators displayed a chilling array of emotions when Justice John Bing confronted them. One, with a face etched in despair, desperately pleaded with the authorities, pointing to her moment of hesitation before attaching the explosive device as evidence of her supposed intent to abandon the crime. Jinji, in a desperate bid to escape the clutches of the death penalty, painted himself as a mere pawn in the sinister game of artificial intelligence. He confessed to his crime, yet when the prosecutor probed deeper, asking if he felt any remorse and what he might do if fate granted him another chance, his response sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned investigators. "I do regret using explosives," he said coldly, "but if given the chance again, I would still kill her." This chilling admission revealed that this was not the first time he had plotted to eliminate his lover. He had previously orchestrated a plan to end her life. Death loomed in various forms: gas poisoning, tire blowouts on the open highway, and a string of failed attempts that painted a chilling picture of desperation. There was a particularly striking moment when AI's car suffered a flat tire just before hitting the road. A cruel twist of fate that not only thwarted his deadly intentions, but forced him to mend her vehicle instead. In the end, the court delivered a grim verdict. Duan AI and Shinji were sentenced to death, while CH Bing faced life behind bars. The tragic romance between Ling and Danon revealed a stark truth. A 3-year age gap was more than just a number. It was a profound chasm that neither wealth nor power could bridge. On a fateful day, March 9th, 2023, a seemingly ordinary visit turned sinister. Jia's mother arrived at her daughter's home in an inn, intending to clean and organize. As she tidied up the bedroom, her eyes fell upon a refrigerator tucked away in the corner, shrouded in neglect. The dust and clutter hinted at secrets long buried. Compelled to restore order, she peeled back the layers of grime and removed the sealing tape from the fridge. With a deep breath, she opened the door, revealing a chilling sight on the top shelf. Frozen remnants of a life once vibrant, now encased in ice and mystery. In the dim light of the kitchen, amidst the mundane chaos of everyday life, a chilling revelation awaited. As she rummaged through the depths of the fridge, searching for beef and lamb, her hand brushed against something unexpected. With a sense of dread, she pushed aside the remaining items, and there it was, a horrifying discovery that would haunt her forever. Her son-in-law, Fanano, missing for a staggering 15 months, lay frozen solid, nestled among the meat. The sight of his curled-up body sent a wave of terror coursing through Jia's mother, paralyzing her with fear. She bolted from the room, her heart racing, desperate to call her daughter. When Jay returned home and encountered her frantic mother, the weight of a long-held secret crashed down upon her. The truth, once buried, was now laid bare, and she knew she had to confess. In a tale that would send shivers down anyone's spine, she had taken the life of her husband, concealing his lifeless body within the cold confines of their refrigerator. It was only after relentless urging from her mother that Chia finally summoned the courage to call the police and confess her heinous act. The shocking news of the Suzhou murder case spread like wildfire across social media, leaving the nation in a state of disbelief. The couple, once newlyweds with bright futures ahead, found themselves ensnared in a web of lies and deceit that unraveled after just 15 months, transforming their love story into a chilling tragedy. The victim, Van Ano, born in 1991 in Ano Province, was the second of 3 brothers in a family that had risen from humble beginnings, with parents who worked tirelessly to provide for their children. In a small town, a family worked tirelessly, selling pancakes from a 3-wheeled cart, all in the hopes of raising their sons. Among them, one son stood out, a beacon of hope after graduating high school. He was admitted to Suzhou University, a moment that filled his family with pride. Yet, the path that followed was anything but straightforward. After navigating through a series of jobs that left him unfulfilled, he finally found his footing as a real estate broker in 2015. Initially, his family and friends were skeptical, unable to grasp how this new role connected to his academic achievements. They whispered doubts, convinced he had strayed from the right path. But soon, the tides would turn, revealing a story of unexpected success. In October 2016, a pivotal moment unfolded in the bustling realm of real estate. A fan, driven by an unshakable belief in the industry's potential, recognized the impending shift just as he embarked on his career. With a keen eye for opportunity, he swiftly implemented crucial regulations, purchase restrictions, and loan limitations that would forever alter the landscape. Before these policies took hold, residents of Suzhou, along with eager buyers from distant regions, flocked to seize properties in a frenzied rush. The market was ablaze, with houses vanishing from listings almost as quickly as they appeared, and brokers reveling in the substantial profits that followed. Vannon, too, stepped into this volatile arena, ready to carve out his own destiny amidst the chaos. In a world where opportunity and ambition collide, one man's journey unfolds against a backdrop of soaring demand and relentless pursuit. Clients, eager and desperate, reached out to him, seeking the keys to their dream homes. His remarkable ability to close deals at an astonishing rate set him apart, a testament to his unwavering work ethic that propelled him into a managerial role. But amidst the whirlwind of success, a different kind of connection was blossoming. In 2016, shortly after embarking on his career, he crossed paths with Chia, a colleague 2 years his junior, hailing from the quiet town of Suzhou. Known for her introverted nature, Chia's reserved demeanor masked a depth of emotion that would soon intertwine with his own. As they navigated the complexities of their professional lives, their bond deepened, a silent promise of love waiting to be unveiled. On February 20th, 2017, a relationship blossomed, officially confirmed to the world. Fans eagerly shared in their joy as he began to weave her initials into the fabric of his online identity. Each month, on the 20th, he would post cherished memories, a ritual that marked their time together. Special occasions were met with romantic surprises, each one more elaborate than the last. Over the course of 17 months, he meticulously chronicled their shared moments, a testament to his unwavering affection for Chia. In return, she mirrored his feelings, though her online persona primarily showcased her personal interests, filled with posts about beloved celebrities and the world of entertainment. In the shadows of the online world, where fans yearned for connection, she remained an enigma. With only a handful of interactions, her presence was often marked by a veil of silence, save for a single post in late 2018 that captured a fleeting moment at a Jackie Young concert, where they occupied the coveted front row seats. This solitary glimpse into her life only deepened the intrigue surrounding her. Those close to her, like F's older brother, whispered about her aloofness, noting how she rarely smiled and kept a deliberate distance from her admirers. From his vantage point, he believed that Van deserved someone far more engaging. Yet, Chia, a native of Sujin and hailing from a privileged background, remained an elusive figure, shrouded in mystery and untold stories. He had received compensation for redevelopment projects, yet he chose to keep his concerns to himself in 2019. F, using his savings along with support from his parents, purchased a home in Suzhou that same year. Meanwhile, CH discovered she was pregnant in early 2020. They registered their marriage, and on February 3rd, 2020, their daughter was born. Fans, who once followed Weeble for insights into his relationship with G, now turned their attention to the new chapter of his life, documenting their daughter's milestones. From her birth to the sleepless nights spent soothing her, a fan chronicled 32 entries about her growth during this transformative time. In a pivotal moment of his career, a man found himself fueled by newfound motivation, driven not just by ambition, but by the weight of responsibility for his family. With his daughter in mind, he stepped up to support them, while his partner took on the role of caregiver at home. Confident in his abilities, he made the bold decision to leave his stable job behind, setting his sights on entrepreneurship and the promise of greater success. After severing ties with his previous employer, he aligned himself with a prestigious brand under one of the nation's top real estate brokerage firms. Drawing on his extensive experience, he began to manage and operate his own real estate brokerage firm. Yet, as he ventured into this new chapter, the challenges that lay ahead would test his resolve in ways he could never have anticipated. In the year 2020, the entrepreneurial landscape shifted dramatically, particularly within the real estate sector. The pandemic unleashed a torrent of challenges, transforming a once thriving market into a shadow of its former self. This downturn cast a long, dark shadow over the family's future as the business that had once flourished began to falter, leaving income levels perilously low. Tensions simmered beneath the surface of their home, where Gia's previously gentle demeanor turned icy, especially with the arrival of Fan's mother, who stepped in to assist with the newborn. Despite her month-long stay, Gia never once referred to her as mother, a puzzling silence that left everyone questioning the dynamics at play in this troubled household. In the shadows of a seemingly happy union, a haunting truth began to unravel. The absence of a formal wedding ceremony lingered like a ghost, haunting his thoughts and casting a pall over their lives. Concerned whispers of postpartum depression echoed in the background, amplifying the tension. On October 1st, 2020, a fan-organized wedding ceremony attempted to stitch together the fraying seams of their relationship. They moved into Gia's family's apartment, a mere 2 miles from his real estate office, but the facade of happiness was fragile. Just days after their vows, an argument erupted, ignited by a simple mistake. Fan had disturbed their daughter's sleep. The air thickened with unspoken resentment, and Gia's lingering upset revealed the cracks that had begun to form in their once promising partnership. In a world where desperation and ambition collide, she turned to the digital realm, unleashing her frustrations in a torrent of expletives that revealed a deep-seated disdain for her husband. As the real estate market crumbled in 2021, tighter regulations suffocated small businesses, leaving many to grapple with financial ruin. Yet, amidst the chaos, Gia found herself ensnared by the allure of online live streams, pouring vast sums into virtual gifts for streamers. It was a dangerous gamble, one that led her to squander hundreds of thousands, all in the misguided hope of securing a VIP account by claiming the title of top supporter. The line between reality and obsession blurred, and the stakes grew ever higher. She was a contributor, but the shadows of deceit loomed large as she fell victim to a scam, with promised refunds that never materialized. To settle the mounting debt, Van was forced to sell the house they had purchased before their marriage. Initially, the family was engulfed in confusion, but slowly, the grim reality of the couple's financial struggles began to unfold. On November 24th, 2021, Van made the fateful decision to return to his hometown to visit family before heading back to Suzhou alone. Little did they know, that would be the last time they would see him. By December, the family found themselves in a desperate struggle to reach him. He had vanished from their lives, ceasing all phone calls and video chats, responding only through the cold, impersonal medium of text messages. She had insisted that Vanin abandoned Suzhou to evade creditors and the concerned family. And trusting her, they accepted her explanation. Over the next 2 months, Fan continued to plead for money, citing overdue rent and loans. Despite their own financial struggles, his mother sent him money, clinging to the hope that it would alleviate their dire situation. The chilling truth, however, was that Vanin was already frozen, and the one reaching out to Fan's family for funds was none other than Gia, the quiet, reserved woman they believed they knew as the loner. As the year 2022 unfolded, a palpable tension gripped the family, especially after their granddaughter's haunting words about missing her father echoed in their minds. It was during a visit to their son's home, where they shared a meal, that the unsettling reality began to sink in. 3 long months had slipped by without a word from him, and with each passing day, their unease deepened. Initially, they entertained the idea that he might have fallen prey to a pyramid scheme, but as the shadows of doubt loomed larger, they resolved to take action. On February 24th, 2022, they made the fateful decision to report his disappearance to the authorities. Little did they know, Gia would soon become a formidable barrier to the investigation, shrouding the truth in layers of deception. As the shadows lengthened and the air grew thick with tension, The police were informed that the van had vanished, supposedly fleeing from debts that loomed like a dark cloud. Gia, the enigmatic figure at the center of it all, continued to weave her tale, claiming she was in contact with a missing individual. She even went so far as to reassure the family, promising that their loved one would return once the financial storm had passed. Yet, her evasiveness only served to deepen the family's unease. Gia's narrative was initially accepted, and the family, caught in a web of sympathy, believed she was battling her struggles alone. But as frustration simmered beneath the surface, doubts began to creep in, particularly when the brother of the missing person started to question whether the messages they were receiving were truly from her. By the time the Mid-Autumn Festival of 2022 arrived, the atmosphere was charged with uncertainty and fear, leaving the family grappling with the chilling possibility that something far more sinister was at play. In a chilling turn of events, a family found themselves grappling with the sudden disappearance of Gia, who had vanished without a trace, taking only the television and refrigerator. Suspicion hung heavy in the air as Gia's mother, alarmed by her daughter's actions, reached out to the police. Their investigation led them to a rental apartment in the Shining District, where the mystery deepened. When Gia's mother confronted her, the young woman remained tight-lipped, leaving her mother with more questions than answers. Defeated, she returned home, but the worry for her granddaughter lingered like a dark cloud. On the morning of the Mid-Autumn Festival, F's parents made their way to the apartment, where they encountered F's older brother, ominously nicknamed the Refrigerator, a remnant of the unsettling situation that had unfolded. Sealed with tape and plugged in, he held back his questions, honoring Gia's silence. In October 2022, Gia returned to their old home with their daughter. By the new year of 2023, Gia took her daughter to Fan's hometown for a celebration. She comforted Fan's family, assuring them that their unresolved issues were close to resolution, and expressed her belief that Fan would soon return. Clinging to this delicate hope, the family braced themselves for yet another holiday without him. Then, on March 8th, 2023, 15 months after Fan's mysterious disappearance, the tension thickened. In a twist that would send shivers down anyone's spine, the family received a message from him, declaring his intention to return home next month. However, their relief was fleeting. The very next day, on March 9th, Gia's mother stumbled upon a chilling secret that had been concealed for a staggering 15 months. Van's lifeless body, hidden away inside the refrigerator. After relentless insistence from Gia's mother, Gia finally confessed to the police, leading to her swift arrest. Authorities conducted an autopsy on Van, uncovering the grim truth. He had succumbed to drug and carbon monoxide poisoning. It was later revealed that Gia had placed his body in the refrigerator, but the precise details of that fateful decision remained shrouded in mystery. On that fateful day, the timeline and details remained shrouded in secrecy. When pressed about her motives, Gia pointed to family disputes as the catalyst. The money that Fan's family believed would help resolve his debts mysteriously found its way into Gia's possession. She cunningly deceived Van's parents, extracting 200,000 yuan from them, while also borrowing 50,000 yuan from his younger brother and taking 120,000 yuan from her own parents, all under the guise of assisting Fan. In total, she orchestrated a scheme that swindled 370,000 yuan, roughly $50,000. Her insatiable thirst for cash was driven by an uncontrollable urge to spend, leaving a trail of deception in her wake. In a world where virtual gifts flow like currency, one woman's obsession spiraled into a dark abyss. Her extravagant spending on a music streamer became the catalyst for a chilling decision: murdering her husband. Even after the heinous act, Jaya clung to her idol, rising to the pinnacle of his fan leaderboard, basking in the glow of his gratitude. Her devotion was unmatched, placing her in a realm of interaction and recognition that eclipsed her peers. The streamer, oblivious to the sinister undertones of her loyalty, celebrated her in his music, weaving her story into the fabric of his content, while the shadows of her crime loomed ever closer. Gia's ascent to the rank of Duke was no small feat. It demanded a staggering 30 million experience points, a sum that translated to approximately 300,000 yuan spent on virtual gifts. Reports reveal that this streamer resided in Suzhou, and just months after the tragic murder of a fan, Gia's demeanor shifted dramatically. Gone was the reserved, quiet persona familiar to her acquaintances. Instead, she emerged as a more vibrant and flirtatious presence, engaging with her audience with newfound fervor. Her Weibo posts during this tumultuous time dripped with emotional undertones, hinting at a deeper involvement that raised eyebrows and questions alike. Whispers of discontent swirled around her, as many questioned the nature of her relationship with the streamer. Speculation ran rampant, suggesting that her feelings were not truly directed toward her deceased husband. The money she had deceitfully acquired raised eyebrows, particularly the lavish gifts she had bestowed upon the streamer, igniting a public outcry. In the midst of the chaos, the media company representing the streamer vehemently denied the allegations that Jia had spent a staggering 300,000 yuan on him. They asserted that Jia had only crossed paths with the streamer after Fan's untimely death, insisting that any marital strife between her and Fan bore no connection to the streamer. When pressed for clarity, the streamer simply stated, "I didn't know she was." In a tale that sends shivers down the spine, we find ourselves drawn into the life of a man whose marriage concealed dark secrets. His wife, it seems, had been indulging in reckless spending on streamers, racking up debts that would haunt them both. As whispers of her financial escapades grew louder, one couldn't help but wonder if she was supporting multiple streamers during this tumultuous time. Meanwhile, her social media presence painted a different picture. A short video account filled with curated moments of dining, gaming, and traveling, all accompanied by reflective captions. Disturbingly, this facade of a vibrant life was maintained while she resided in the same house as her husband's lifeless body. Such behavior revealed a chilling absence of remorse, as she navigated her days with an unsettling calmness, seemingly unfazed by the tragedy that loomed just beyond her reach. In a world where the line between sanity and madness can blur in an instant, she posted selfies, crafting a narrative that seemed to soothe her own troubled soul. Yet, lurking beneath the surface, police suspected that something darker had driven Jia beyond her breaking point, culminating in a chilling act of murder. For many, those breaking points are often tied to the weight of financial burdens, tumultuous relationships, or the complexities of family dynamics. From what we know, Van was the epitome of devotion, a loving father, a dutiful son, and a man deeply rooted in family values. He even contemplated selling their home to erase the debts that had spiraled out of control, debts born from his wife's reckless choices, which ultimately left him vulnerable, swindled out of hundreds of thousands. The tragic unraveling of their lives paints a haunting picture of desperation and betrayal. In the shadowy corners of their tumultuous relationship, the evidence paints a stark picture. Yuan, a figure shrouded in mystery, shows no signs of extravagance or personal turmoil that could have led to such a tragic end. Instead, the conflict appears rooted in the mistakes of one party, leaving Jia, the more vulnerable figure, seemingly without the need to conceal her actions. Her continued pursuit of connection with Fan's family after the fallout speaks volumes about the dynamics at play. Yet, beneath the surface, a chilling reality emerges. Jia's affection for Fan seemed to wane after their vows. The unplanned pregnancy, a harbinger of discord, and the collapse of their business cast a long shadow over their union, leaving her trapped in a marriage that spiraled into unhappiness. Outwardly, she wore the mask of normalcy, a facade carefully crafted to deceive those around her. Yet, Beneath that polished surface, a tempest of dissatisfaction brewed, compelling her to seek solace in shadows. This secret, a web of lies, stood in stark contrast to the image she projected to the world. Van, perhaps unwittingly, began to peel back the layers of her deception, revealing glimpses of her true self. It was a revelation that could have sent Gia spiraling into a panic, prompting her to consider the unthinkable, eliminating Van to safeguard her carefully constructed reality. At its essence, this chilling act seemed to be a premeditated maneuver, a desperate attempt to silence the one who threatened to expose her. Gia, in her twisted logic, likely believed her fabrications about Van's escape were enough to shield her from the truth that loomed ever closer. In a chilling tale of deceit and desperation, the story of Gia unfolds against a backdrop of mounting debts that would ultimately lead to her unraveling. On December 21st, 2023, the Suzhou Intermediate People's Court became the stage for a gripping trial, where Gia faced grave charges of intentional homicide and fraud. The courtroom buzzed with tension as the verdict hung in the air, unannounced, leaving the audience in suspense. The family of the victims, their grief palpable, stood firm in their demand for justice, insisting on the maximum penalty and full restitution for their financial devastation. As whispers of the potential death penalty circulated, public intrigue grew, captivated by the dark choices that led Gia down this treacherous path. In the chilling realm of death penalty cases, mere confession does not pave the way for mercy. This stark reality echoes through the haunting details of a case that has drawn unsettling parallels to the infamous 2016 Shanghai freezer murder. There, a man named S.H. Sha Dong concealed his wife's lifeless body in a freezer for a harrowing 105 days before ultimately surrendering to authorities, only to face the grim sentence of death. In the pursuit of leniency, other elements may come into play, such as the forgiveness of the victim's family or notable contributions to society. Yet, for Gia, the path remains fraught with uncertainty. Forgiveness from fans and family hangs in the balance, yet they remain steadfast in their refusal to absolve her or retract their civil compensation claims. The court now faces the daunting task of unraveling the intricate web of deceit. If it is established that she meticulously prepared the poison in advance, the chilling specter of premeditated murder looms large. Her actions following the heinous act, her attempts to shroud the murder in secrecy, evade the relentless grasp of investigation, and exploit the victim's identity for her own gain, paint a portrait of extreme malice and calculated intent. As the courtroom holds its breath, the verdict remains tantalizingly out of reach, but the shadows of her deeds linger ominously in the air. The chilling nature of this crime, coupled with the pressing demand for societal deterrence, suggests that Gu is poised to face the ultimate punishment, the death penalty. Yet, the final verdict and the looming specter of an appeal cast a shadow of uncertainty over what lies ahead, leaving us to ponder the fate that awaits him until the official sentencing is delivered. In the heart of Panama, two young souls embarked on a journey that promised to change their lives forever. Chris, just 21, with a fierce, independent spirit, and Isand, 22, radiating warmth and friendliness, had been inseparable for years. Their dreams intertwined. They set their sights on a trip that blended volunteering with adventure, a carefully crafted escape from the ordinary. After months of anticipation, they finally arrived in a picturesque town, nestled high in the Panamanian highlands, a place renowned for its lush landscapes and vibrant culture. Little did they know, this journey would take unexpected turns, testing their friendship and resolve in ways they could never have imagined. In the heart of lush forests and thriving coffee plantations, a vibrant community buzzed with life. Two young women, filled with hope and purpose, planned to dedicate their time to working with local children while immersing themselves in the breathtaking surroundings. On April 1st, 2014, Chris and Lon embarked on what was meant to be a simple hike along the Pianista Trail, a well-trodden path that beckoned adventurers into the depths of the jungle. It was intended to be a brief excursion, a gentle introduction to the area before they dove into their volunteer work. They were last seen leaving their hostel in the early afternoon, clad in light hiking gear, their backpacks slung over their shoulders and a camera in hand, ready to capture the beauty around them. The weather was clear, a perfect day for exploration, but little did anyone know that this would be the last time they were seen. They seemed filled with excitement, but as night fell and they failed to return, unease began to creep in. It was out of the ordinary for tourists to wander the jungle after dark, and the two women had not hinted at any intentions for an extended adventure. Their host family grew increasingly anxious when they missed a scheduled appointment the following morning. Calls to their phones went unanswered, and by April 3rd, their parents back in the Netherlands were alerted. Panic took hold as a search was initiated, first by local guides and then by Panamanian authorities. Days slipped by with no trace of them. In the heart of a dense jungle, the search for the missing women faced insurmountable challenges. Steep cliffs loomed, raging rivers roared, and unpredictable wildlife lurked in the shadows. Despite the relentless efforts of aerial searches, sniffer dogs, and dedicated volunteers combing through the treacherous terrain, no trace of Chris and Liz could be found. Weeks passed in agonizing silence until a local woman stumbled upon a backpack resting along the banks of the Cabra River. Inside, authorities unearthed personal belongings that sent shivers down spines. 2 pairs of sunglasses, a water bottle, a passport, and a camera. But more chillingly, the backpack contained. Both women's cell phones became crucial artifacts in the unfolding mystery, as investigators swiftly extracted data that painted a harrowing timeline of their final hours. The records revealed a frantic series of attempts to reach emergency services, with the first distress call ringing out on April 1st at 4:39 p.m., just hours after they embarked on their ill-fated hike. Just hours after they embarked on their hike, a chilling series of events began to unfold. Over the next few days, dozens of frantic emergency calls were placed by both faults, but the dense jungle swallowed their cries for help, leaving them unheard. By April 5th, Land's phone succumbed to a dead battery, leaving only Chris's device as their last lifeline. Then, on April 6th, an unsettling occurrence began. Someone was repeatedly entering an incorrect PIN into Chris's phone, a haunting rhythm that persisted until April 11th, when the phone flickered to life for the final time. Among the remnants found in the backpack, a camera hinted at secrets yet to be uncovered. A mystery unfolded within the confines of a collection of over 90 photographs. Some captured the 2 women on the first day of their hike, their faces illuminated by sunlight, smiles wide and carefree. Yet, as the sequence progressed, the tone shifted dramatically. Taken in the chilling darkness of April 8th, the images revealed a jungle shrouded in night. Some showcased the treetops looming overhead, while others focused on the treacherous rocky terrain below. One haunting photo seemed to depict Chris's hair, as if the camera had been carelessly dropped near her head. Another unsettling image revealed a makeshift marker, crafted from sticks and a red plastic bag, leaving an ominous question hanging in the air. What did it signify? These photos linger in a haze of uncertainty, yet many speculate they might reveal a desperate plea for assistance. As the investigation unfolded, new evidence emerged weeks after the backpack was unearthed. A local guide stumbled upon human remains along the same riverbank, where a shoe was found, its foot still encased within. Fragments of bones were also discovered, with some confirmed to belong to both Chris and Lazen. DNA analysis showed no indications of struggle or foul play, but the condition of the remains has raised eyebrows among experts. casting a shadow of doubt over the circumstances surrounding their discovery. It was a scene that sent chills down the spine, a stark contrast between the bodies, some appearing weathered and worn, as if they had battled the unforgiving elements for what felt like an eternity, while others remained eerily pristine, suggesting a sinister hand had intervened. The inconsistencies only served to thicken the fog of mystery surrounding their tragic end. Officially, Panamanian authorities concluded that Chris Kramers and Lizen Fruin had lost their way in the dense jungle, succumbing to the relentless forces of nature. The narrative painted a picture of two souls wandering off the beaten path, becoming disoriented, and ultimately falling victim to dehydration and exposure. Yet, whispers of doubt lingered in the air, as some dared to question the validity of this explanation, hinting at a darker truth lurking just beneath the surface. In the shadows of a chilling narrative, the peculiar activity surrounding failed pin entries emerges as a chilling clue, suggesting that one woman may have clung to life longer than the others. Whispers of a sinister encounter linger, hinting at the possibility of a cover-up or foul play. To this day, the tragic deaths of Chris Kremers and Lizen Fruin cast a dark pall over the landscape, their story a haunting enigma. The fragments of evidence unearthed provide haunting glimpses into their final moments, yet a multitude of questions remain shrouded in darkness. The haunting images from the camera, the eerie fall activity, and the grim discovery of scattered remains have ignited a firestorm of speculation, leaving their families grappling with the unresolved mysteries that continue to torment them. In the shadowy realm of unsolved mysteries, uncertainty looms as the most agonizing specter. Years of investigations, theories, and heated debates swirl around the enigma of what transpired in the tangled depths of Panama. Following the chilling discovery of Chris and Lon's backpack, forensic investigators plunged into their work, meticulously combing through the contents in search of elusive clues. Strangely, the items within appeared remarkably dry and untouched, raising unsettling questions. Had the backpack truly braved the elements for weeks, or was it sinisterly placed there, a chilling testament to a darker truth waiting to be uncovered? In the aftermath, investigators delved deep into the phone logs, piecing together the frantic attempts at emergency calls. It became painfully evident that both women were in a state of sheer desperation, reaching out for help from the very first afternoon. This urgency suggested that something had gone horribly awry almost from the start. The heartbreaking reality was that none of those calls ever connected. Had they been able to reach someone, their fates could have taken an entirely different turn. Among the many unsettling details in the phone records, the incorrect PIN entries on Chris's phone stood out, adding another layer of mystery to an already tragic tale. On April 5th, Lon's phone went silent, but Chris's device continued to hum with life for several more days. However, the narrative took a dark turn on April 6th, when someone began to enter the wrong PIN repeatedly, each failed attempt echoing through the stillness until the phone finally shut down. This troubling detail raised unsettling questions. Had Chris succumbed to her injuries, too weak to reach for her phone, or was there a more sinister presence at play? It seemed implausible that Lon would forget such a crucial detail as Chris's PIN. Speculation swirled like a storm. Could it be that Chris had already met her tragic end by that fateful day, leaving her phone in the hands of an unknown intruder? If so, who was this shadowy figure lurking in the background, and what secrets did they hold? Another figure emerged, or was it Liz, and engulfed in a state of sheer terror? These haunting questions linger, never to be resolved. The camera discovered within the backpack only deepened the mystery, presenting a chilling narrative. The earlier photos from April 1st captured Chris and Liz and their faces alight with joy, reveling in the hike and striking poses near the Continental Divide, where the trail beckoned them deeper into the jungle. But the later images told a different story. The nighttime snapshots taken on April 8th revealed an abyss of darkness, with only the flash of the camera piercing through, illuminating the ominous silhouettes of trees and rocks, hinting at the dread that lay ahead. In a chilling twist of fate, seemingly random objects emerged, some marked with intentional symbols, as if they were leaving a desperate trail or signaling for help. One haunting photograph captured a reflection in the distance, igniting speculation that they were attempting to communicate with rescuers or that they were not alone in their harrowing plight. Yet, the most unsettling image revealed what appeared to be the back of Chris's head, her hair matted and possibly wet, shrouded in an eerie ambiguity. The context of this image remains a dark mystery, leading some to theorize that Liz took these haunting pictures to document their grim ordeal, while others ponder the sinister possibility that the photos might hold a deeper, more disturbing truth. They had been taken by someone else entirely, plunging the investigation deeper into darkness. The first significant find, a shoe containing a human foot, sent chills down the spine of those involved. It was later confirmed to belong to Lay's father remarkably. The shoe was in surprisingly good condition, the laces still tied, as if the owner had simply stepped away. Nearby, a fragment of Chris's pelvic bone was unearthed, accompanied by other small bone fragments from both women. Strangely, some of the bones were stark white, untouched by animal scavenging or the natural process of decomposition. Experts found themselves divided, grappling with the unsettling implications of these discoveries. What could this mean? Some believe the bones have been exposed to the relentless grip of the human jungle environment for so long that natural processes had eroded them away. Others whispered of a more sinister possibility, that they had been deliberately treated with chemicals or otherwise tampered with. This inconsistency ignited a firestorm of speculation, suggesting that the young women might not have merely lost their way, but had crossed paths with something or someone far more malevolent. Yet, local authorities stood firm, declaring there was no evidence of foul play, attributing the tragic death to nothing more than an unfortunate accident. In a chilling twist of fate, it was suggested that Chris and Elle had strayed from the well-trodden path, becoming disoriented in the unforgiving wilderness, ultimately falling victim to dehydration and exposure. Yet, skeptics were quick to highlight a series of unsettling inconsistencies in this narrative. First, if they had merely lost their way, why had no trace of their bodies been uncovered during the earlier search efforts? The jungle, while dense, had been scoured thoroughly, making the later discovery of their remains, scattered and in disarray, all the more suspicious, hinting at a possible foul play. Furthermore, the peculiarities surrounding their phone records raised even more questions, leaving a haunting air of mystery lingering in the shadows. In the chilling aftermath of the failed PIN entries, a haunting question lingered. How could the phone continue to function for days after the emergency calls? It hinted at a grim possibility that at least one of them had endured, trapped in a harrowing situation. Theories began to swirl like dark clouds overhead. Some speculated that Chris and Lazen had met with a tragic accident, perhaps tumbling from a treacherous cliff or being swept away by a sudden flash flood. Others whispered of a more sinister fate, suggesting they had crossed paths with a malevolent individual or a group whose intentions were anything but benign. The truth, shrouded in mystery, beckoned like a shadow in the night. In a desperate bid to conceal the truth, another theory emerged, suggesting that they had sought refuge in a cave or some desolate location, only to fall victim to the cruel grips of starvation and dehydration. Yet, the most haunting speculation whispered of a sinister local criminal element lurking in the shadows, though no tangible evidence has ever surfaced to substantiate such claims. For the families left behind, the torment of uncertainty has been unbearable. They journeyed to Panama time and again, driven by an insatiable need for answers, relentlessly pressing authorities for deeper investigations and even enlisting the help of private detectives. Despite their tireless efforts, the mystery remains unsolved. The case lingers in the shadows, shrouded in uncertainty, as the tragic fate of Chris Kurz and Lazen Fran continues to haunt the minds of many. In the years since their mysterious disappearance, intrepid travelers have flocked to the Pianista Trail, retracing the steps of the lost souls, driven by a desperate hope to unearth clues that may have slipped through the cracks of time. Yet, the jungle, with its dense foliage and whispering winds, guards its secrets fiercely. For now, the chilling truth of what transpired in those remote highlands remains locked away, a haunting enigma. In the months that followed the grim discovery of Chris Kurz and Lazen Fran's remains, speculation swirled like a dark cloud, enveloping the narrative of their vanishing act, leaving only questions in its wake. The forensic analysis of the bones revealed a chilling complexity, raising more questions than it answered. Experts observed a stark contrast in the remains. While some showed the expected signs of natural decomposition, others appeared almost unnaturally pristine. Chris's bones, in particular, stood out, remarkably devoid of any damage from scavengers, a peculiar detail considering the harsh jungle surroundings. Some investigators speculated that chemical exposure might have played a role, yet no conclusive evidence supported this theory. The unsettling differences in decomposition rates between the two women's remains only deepened the mystery, leaving a haunting sense of uncertainty in its wake. Speculation loomed large. Had they perished at different times? Had one clung to life significantly longer than the other? These unsettling possibilities only deepened the enigma surrounding their fate. While authorities insisted that the young women had simply gotten lost and succumbed to the elements, alternative theories continued to swirl in the shadows. One chilling possibility suggested that Chris and Lazen had attempted to navigate one of the treacherous rivers in the area, only to be violently swept away by the relentless currents. The terrain beyond the Pianista Trail was unforgiving, and if they had strayed too far, they could have easily vanished without a trace. They found themselves ensnared in a perilous predicament. Yet, this theory fell short in clarifying the scattered state of their remains or the stark contrast in the condition of certain bonds, some unnaturally pristine while others bore the marks of natural decay. It also overlooked the enigmatic photographs captured under the cover of night, hinting that they may have endured for days after losing their way. Another unsettling theory emerged, suggesting they might have crossed paths with an unknown figure lurking in the jungle. The region, often deemed safe for tourists, held whispers from locals that warned of darker truths hidden within its depths. In the shadows of the dense jungle, there existed territories where outsiders dared not tread. Whispers circulated that Chris and Lan may have unwittingly crossed into forbidden grounds, provoking the ire of a local who viewed them as intruders. In this chilling scenario, they could have been pursued deeper into the unforgiving wilderness, disoriented and vulnerable, ultimately succumbing to the elements. While the absence of definitive evidence of foul play cast a veil of uncertainty, the enigma surrounding their vanishing loomed large, impossible to ignore. Among the most confounding aspects of this mystery was the camera, a silent witness to their last moments. Images captured by both experts and amateur sleuths have been scrutinized, revealing more than 90 photos taken during a seemingly innocent hike. The snapshots from April 1st depict two travelers reveling in their surroundings, but the images snapped in the early hours of April 8th tell a different story. Some theorists propose that the flash from the camera was employed as a desperate distress signal, a last-ditch effort to attract the attention of a search team. Others speculate that the photos were intended to document their environment, perhaps as a haunting farewell to the world they once knew. In a chilling twist, there existed a record, a haunting testament to the uncertainty of survival. Whispers of speculation surrounded the photographs, with some suggesting they might have been captured by an unknown intruder. Yet, the forensic analysis remained steadfast, offering no confirmation of any external interference. Among the eerie nighttime images, one stood out, a glimpse of Chris's hair, her face shrouded in darkness. This unsettling detail ignited theories of her possible injury or even her demise. If Lon had indeed been the one behind the lens, it painted a grim picture of her enduring alone, perhaps for days, in a harrowing struggle for life. In the shadowy depths of the jungle, a chilling tale unfolds. Investigators speculate that Chris may have met a tragic fate early on, possibly succumbing to a fatal fall, leaving Lazen to traverse the treacherous wilderness alone. This unsettling scenario could shed light on the mysterious activity of Chris's phone, which continued to show signs of use after April 5th, albeit with incorrect PIN attempts. Was Len, in a desperate bid for survival, trying to unlock the device to summon help? The disarray of their remains only deepens the mystery, suggesting that their bodies may have been moved post-mortem. Given the unforgiving terrain, it seems implausible that nature alone could account for such a grim outcome. Spread their remains so widely that some experts speculated animals might have played a role. Yet, this theory failed to explain the peculiar condition of the bones. The notion that their remains have been altered, either by another individual or through some mysterious natural phenomenon, only deepened the shadows of doubt surrounding the case. Despite thorough investigations, Panamanian authorities ultimately closed the case, deeming their deaths accidental. However, for many, this conclusion lingered like an unsolved riddle, leaving a haunting sense of incompleteness. The Dutch forensic team, too, found themselves grappling with the unsettling questions that remained unanswered. A team tasked with reviewing the evidence found themselves grappling with unsettling doubts about the official conclusions. They pointed out that numerous facets of the case lingered in the shadows, shrouded in mystery. Meanwhile, the families of Chris and Lazen relentlessly sought the truth, refusing to come to terms with the chilling notion that two young women could vanish without a trace, only for their remains to surface under such eerie circumstances years later. The disappearance of Chris Kramers and Len F. stands as one of the most confounding and haunting cases in recent memory, a tangled web of strange occurrences and unsettling activity that continues to haunt those who dare to delve into it. The chilling camera photos and the baffling state of their remains have woven a tapestry of mystery that may forever elude those who delve into the case. The haunting question lingers. Was this merely a tragic accident, or does a darker narrative lie beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed? As time marched on, those invested in the story sought to construct a credible timeline of Chris and Lon's final days. The fam records hinted that at least one of them had endured for nearly a week with the last. On April 11th, a chilling revelation emerged. Attempted phone activity was recorded, suggesting that for at least 10 harrowing days, they had fought to escape the suffocating grasp of the jungle. Battling hunger, dehydration, and perhaps even injuries, the grim idea that they had both succumbed on the very first day began to fade. The ongoing use of the phone painted a picture of a desperate struggle for survival. Yet, if one had managed to endure for days after the other, what sinister events had unfolded during that time? And why did the camera photos captured on April 8th raise so many unsettling questions for investigators? The mystery deepened, leaving a trail of intrigue and dread in its wake. The discovery of the backpack, remarkably preserved, stands as one of the most perplexing elements of this unfolding mystery. A local woman stumbled upon it near the banks of the Cabra River, and what she found inside was chilling. A phone, a camera, money, passports, and personal belongings, all untouched by time. The pristine condition of the backpack sparked unsettling questions. Had it been carefully placed there, shielded from the ravages of nature? If so, who could have done such a thing? Whispers in the community hinted at a local villager who might have come across it, grappling with the decision to report the find. The shadows of doubt loomed large, and the truth remained elusive. In the shadows of a high-profile investigation, a chilling fear gripped those involved. Whispers circulated that someone, perhaps a figure lurking in the background, had been privy to secrets surrounding the women's disappearance, secrets they had yet to reveal. As search teams combed the area, they stumbled upon a haunting discovery, clothing believed to belong to Chris. Among the items, a pair of shorts, reportedly Chris's, was found meticulously folded on a rock by the river. This detail sent shivers down spines. If the young women had been in a state of distress, why would their clothing be so carefully arranged? In a scene that felt meticulously orchestrated rather than the result of chaotic natural forces, the condition of the shorts raised unsettling questions. They appear to have been removed with intent, not torn away by the merciless grip of floodwaters or the gnawing jaws of wildlife. This detail hinted at a chilling possibility, the involvement of another person in this grim narrative. As forensic experts delved deeper into the scattered bones, they searched for any trace of trauma that could unveil foul play. Yet, despite their thorough examination, no definitive signs of violence emerged. The absence of clear fractures left the mystery hanging in the air, suggesting a sinister undercurrent without a clear resolution. There was no sign of a fall, nor any markings that would suggest an attack. Yet, the pristine condition of some bones sparked heated debate. If the bodies had been abandoned in the jungle, why were there no typical signs of decomposition, such as animal scavenging? Some of Land's bones still bore remnants of flesh, while Chris's were nearly stripped bare. This stark contrast was deeply unsettling, igniting whispers of interference. Something or someone had disrupted the natural cycle of decay. Locals and independent investigators began to piece together the unsettling puzzle. As the investigation unfolded, a web of theories began to take shape, each more chilling than the last. Whispers of criminal organizations, illegal gold miners, and even supernatural forces danced through the air, casting a shadow over the official narrative. Though hard evidence remained elusive, the unsettling details of the case left a lingering sense of doubt. Villagers, wary of outsiders, hinted at a long-standing danger that cloaked the region, yet few dared to speak openly about the dark secrets hidden within the jungle. Meanwhile, search teams pressed on, combing through the dense foliage, driven by the haunting mysteries that lay just beyond their reach. For weeks, the search yielded nothing but silence, only for bones and personal belongings to emerge later, igniting whispers of a sinister cover-up. Among the most contentious pieces of evidence were the haunting camera photos, particularly those snapped in the dead of night. Some images seemed utterly random, capturing mere tree branches, rocks, and the inky darkness beyond the flash. Yet, others hinted at a deeper narrative, suggesting that Liz, and if she was indeed the one behind the lens, was striving to document something of grave significance. A few images hinted at what lay hidden in the shadows. Red plastic bags or fabric lay scattered, possibly serving as makeshift markers in a scene that whispered of desperation. Another image revealed a small stick carefully arranged on a rock, perhaps a signal in the silence. Yet, it was the haunting final image that captured the back of Chris's head, leaving a chilling question in its wake. Did this signify that Chris was already gone, or had she simply been too weak to escape? Despite a wealth of evidence, from phone logs to photographs to the scattered remains, no single theory has managed to unravel the mystery of what truly happened to Chris Kremers and Liz and Fruin in the depths of Panama. Authorities reached a conclusion, declaring the deaths accidental. Yet, as the shadows of the case loom larger, many elements refuse to align with that narrative. The enigmatic phone activity, the peculiar arrangement of belongings, the haunting photographs, and the unsettling state of their bones all whisper of a deeper, darker truth lurking beneath the surface. This case stands as one of the most chilling and contentious disappearances in recent memory. Online communities and independent sleuths tirelessly sift through the fragments, hunting for overlooked clues, yet the absence of definitive answers leaves a haunting void, echoing with unanswered questions. The fate of Chris and Lazen lingers like a shadow in the dense jungle, an unsettling enigma that may forever evade resolution. Years have passed since the disappearance of Chris Kremers and Len Fun, yet their case stands as one of the most perplexing and haunting mysteries of our time. Despite exhaustive search efforts, forensic examinations, and the insights of experts, no explanation has managed to unravel the bizarre details that shroud their fate. The official narrative suggests they became lost and succumbed to exposure, but the lingering questions remain, echoing through the underbrush like whispers of the unknown. It appeared, at first glance, to be a case steeped in logic. Yet beneath the surface lay a web of inconsistencies that whispered of deeper mysteries. The peculiar condition of the remains and the chilling photographs captured under the cloak of night hinted at secrets that might forever elude discovery. Among the most unsettling elements of this tale is the haunting notion that one of the women may have clung to life far longer than her companion. Phone records revealed a chilling timeline. Lan's device remained active until April 11th, yet by that fateful date, it had fallen silent, marked only by futile attempts to revive it. In those final desperate moments, it felt as though someone was reaching out, grasping for a lifeline in the darkness. In a haunting tale of desperation, one can't help but ponder the depths of Liz Ann's final days. Was she truly alone, clinging to the fragile thread of hope, or had Chris succumbed to his injuries, leaving her to navigate the treacherous jungle on her own? If that were the case, what sinister force kept her from finding help? The chilling reality is underscored by the fact that, despite weeks of relentless searching, no trace of human tracks linked to Chris and Liz Ann ever emerged. The jungle, with its dense and unforgiving terrain, held its secrets tightly, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions that linger in the air like a ghostly whisper. Experienced trackers had scoured the area extensively, and if the two women had indeed been walking for days, their footprints should have been discovered somewhere along the way. The absence of physical evidence indicating a prolonged struggle for survival led some to speculate that they had not been wandering freely in the jungle at all. Instead, it was suggested that they may have been confined to one location, whether due to injury, disorientation, or even by force. The condition of their remains remains one of the most debated elements of the case, while the official narrative pointed to wild animals as the cause. In a chilling twist, the scattered bones of the animals told a haunting story, but experts unearthed inconsistencies that cast a shadow over the prevailing theory. The unnaturally clean state of Chris's bones, almost as if they had been bleached, sent shivers down the spine of the forensic team. They noted that such an appearance was not typical of natural decomposition, igniting dark speculation that her remains might have been subjected to chemicals or manipulated in a way that hastened their decay. In stark contrast, some of Lan's bones still bore remnants of tissue, a grim reminder that her body had undergone a different, more natural decomposition process. In a different manner or environment, an unsettling question emerged. Had the two women perished in disparate locations and under varying circumstances? For their families, the absence of closure has been nothing short of devastating. Chris's and Lon's loved ones have relentlessly advocated for further investigations, clinging to the hope that new forensic techniques or fresh evidence might finally unveil the truth they so desperately seek. While Panamanian authorities have officially deemed the case closed, independent researchers and true crime enthusiasts remain undeterred, tirelessly dissecting every detail in search of answers. Every detail is scrutinized, each fragment of information meticulously pieced together in the quest for understanding what truly transpired. In the shadows of Bit, whispers circulate among the locals, though few dare to voice their theories openly. The Pianista Trail, a favored path for hikers, conceals its own secrets within its dense, unforgiving terrain. Some speculate that Chris and Lazen may have crossed paths with individuals they were never meant to encounter. Perhaps a group involved in illicit activities like unlicensed gold mining or drug trafficking. Others murmur about the unsettling possibility of a local guide or resident entangled in the mystery. Leading them astray, the shadows of doubt linger, for no evidence has ever surfaced to substantiate these claims. Without witness testimony or physical proof, these theories remain mere whispers in the dark, speculation that haunts the edges of the case. Even now, the camera photos stand as one of the most confounding elements of this mystery. Why were dozens of images captured in the dead of night, devoid of a clear subject? Some theorists propose that the women may have been using the flash to ward off lurking predators or to beckon attention from afar. Others contend that the photos were an earnest attempt to document something far more sinister. It was a moment that seemed innocuous, perhaps a location etched in their minds or a potential danger they aimed to document. One of the last photographs, capturing what looks like the back of Chris's head, lingers in the shadows of the unsolved mystery. Had she already succumbed to fate by that moment? If so, what compelled someone to take that chilling image? The absence of clear answers only deepens the enigma surrounding the case of Chris Kremers and Lizen Fruin, a haunting tale that continues to grip those who delve into its depths. The unsettling notion that two bright young women could embark on a hike in the glaring light of day, only to vanish without a trace, sends shivers down the spine of anyone who hears their story. Without explanation, the scene is haunting. Their remains, their belongings, and their desperate final attempts to call for help weave a narrative steeped in fear and confusion. Yet, this tale remains frustratingly incomplete. Ultimately, the fate of Chris and Lazen may forever elude our understanding, as the jungle has consumed its secrets, leaving behind only fragments of a tragedy that has both captivated and horrified people across the globe. For their families, the unanswered questions linger like an open wound, and for those who persist in the search for the truth, the shadows of uncertainty loom large. This case serves as a haunting reminder of how swiftly even the most cautious travelers can vanish into the unknown, leaving behind a riddle that eludes comprehension. Our next story centers on Lars Tin, an ordinary young man devoid of any history of mental illness, criminal behavior, or erratic actions. Born in Germany, he led a conventional life, holding a stable job. In June 2014, at the age of 28, he embarked on a journey to Bulgaria with a group of friends, seeking a summer vacation filled with joy. What was meant to be a carefree escape soon spiraled into something far more sinister. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the beach, Lars and his friends reveled in the carefree atmosphere of the Golden Sands Resort, a favored haunt for European tourists. For the first few days, their vacation unfolded like a dream. Days spent lounging on the beach, nights filled with laughter and revelry in the vibrant nightlife of the resort town. But as the end of their trip loomed closer, an unforeseen incident shattered their idyllic escape, igniting a series of strange occurrences that would culminate in one of the most baffling disappearances in recent memory. One fateful night, while at a bar, Lars found himself embroiled in a confrontation that would change everything. In a seemingly innocuous setting, a minor altercation unfolded among a group of German tourists, sparked by a heated disagreement over football. What began as a simple dispute quickly escalated, leading to a flurry of punches. Lars found himself struck on the side of the head, yet at that moment, he appeared to walk away unscathed. After the chaos, he and his companions retreated to their hotel, the night cloaking the incident in a shroud of normalcy. However, by morning, the facade began to crack. Lars complained of a nagging pain in his ear, his disorientation palpable, and his hearing faltering. Alarmed, his friends pressed him to seek medical attention, sensing that the shadows of the previous night were far from over. In a twist of fate, Lars found himself in the care of a local physician, who, with a keen eye, diagnosed him with a perforated eardrum. The doctor, a seasoned expert, cautioned Lars against flying back to Germany, warning that the change in air pressure could exacerbate his fragile condition. He prescribed a potent antibiotic known as Ceox and urged Lars to rest, steering clear of any strenuous activity. As his friends prepared to return to Germany the following day, Lars faced a heart-wrenching choice: to remain alone in Bulgaria, allowing his body the time it needed to heal. Despite their offers to stay by his side, he resolutely insisted they continue on their journey, a solitary figure left behind in a foreign land, battling his own affliction. With their flights, they departed, convinced he would take a few days to recuperate before returning home, once he was clear to fly. But after his friends left, Lars's behavior took a dark turn. He checked into a rundown hotel near the airport, but instead of finding solace, he seemed to spiral into paranoia. He sent a chilling text to his mother, Sandra, expressing his fear that he was being followed. His request to cancel his credit card sent alarm bells ringing in her mind. The hotel staff later reported that Lars was, in a chilling turn of events, he began to act erratically, pacing the dimly lit hallways, his eyes darting to the windows as if he were waiting for an unseen figure. Late at night, he slipped out of his room, vanishing into the shadows for hours, only to return with a palpable tension hanging in the air. Witnesses noted his nervous demeanor, constantly glancing over his shoulder as if he were being hunted. In a hushed conversation with a fellow guest, he confided his fears of imminent danger, though the reasons remained shrouded in mystery. His mother, sensing the growing unease, urged him to flee to the airport and catch the first flight home. Reluctantly, he agreed, and on that fateful July night, the stage was set for a story that would leave many questions unanswered. On the fateful day of the 8th of 2014, Lars found himself at Vienna Airport, poised to board a flight that would take him back to Germany. At first glance, it appeared that he was finally prepared to return home. He checked in at the airport clinic for a final examination, where the doctor, after a thorough assessment, found no significant health concerns that would hinder his journey. But then, in a chilling turn of events, something shifted within Lars. A wave of agitation washed over him, and he began to mumble anxiously about the urgent need to leave. Without a moment's notice, he sprang from his seat and dashed out, leaving behind the semblance of normalcy that had surrounded him just moments before. In a scene that could only be described as chaotic, the clinic erupted with urgency as LS burst from the airport terminal, his heart pounding in his chest. Security cameras caught every frantic moment as he abandoned his luggage, a mere afterthought in his desperate flight. He dashed past rows of parked cars, a blur of motion fueled by an instinct to escape. With no time to look back, he reached the airport's perimeter fence, a formidable barrier that would deter most. But not LS. Without a moment's hesitation, he scaled the barbed wire, a final act of defiance before vanishing into the dense woods that lay beyond the airport grounds. This would mark the last confirmed sighting of him, a haunting moment that left both his family and the authorities grappling with unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. The reasons for his disappearance remained shrouded in mystery, leaving a chilling void in the lives of those who cared for him. In a scene that would chill the bones of any observer, he was gripped by a sudden panic, yet no one pursued him, and no immediate threats loomed at the airport. His actions appeared utterly irrational, particularly given that he was mere moments from boarding a plane that would take him home. A frantic search was initiated in the area where he was last spotted, but he had seemingly evaporated into thin air. Local authorities scoured the woods, fields, and nearby buildings, but it was as if he had slipped through the very fabric of reality. Meanwhile, his mother, consumed by worry, frantically dialed his number over and over, but the silence on the other end was deafening. In the days that followed, the police intensified their search, yet the results were chillingly sparse. No clothing, no phone, no trace of where he might have gone. He had seemingly vanished into thin air. His family and friends were engulfed in a fog of uncertainty, grappling with haunting questions that refused to fade. Why had he fled? What demons lurked in his mind? And where could he possibly be after slipping away from the airport? As the hours turned into days, Mars Mink's family was plunged into a whirlwind of confusion and panic. His mother, Sandra, was particularly tormented, having maintained a steady stream of communication with him right up until his disappearance. She sensed that something was dreadfully wrong, had been wrong in the days leading up to his flight, but she never imagined that he would simply disappear without a trace. After losing contact with him, she reached out to authorities in Bulgaria, urging them to continue the search. However, despite thorough investigations, there was no sign of Lars anywhere. The wooded area where he was last seen was searched extensively, but no belongings, clothing, or any indication of where he might have gone were found. It was as if he had simply vanished into the wilderness. As news of his disappearance spread, the mystery deepened. As whispers began to circulate, a chilling narrative unfolded around the peculiar behavior of Lars. The earliest speculation suggested that his sudden descent into paranoia and erratic actions might be linked to the antibiotics prescribed to him. Medications like cephalosporin, notorious for their potential side effects, could induce confusion, agitation, and even hallucinations in rare instances. Was it possible that Lars had suffered a severe reaction, spiraling into a belief that danger lurked around every corner, when in truth, he was ensnared in the grip of his own mind? Yet, as the theories took shape, cracks began to appear in this explanation, hinting at a deeper, more sinister truth lurking beneath the surface. LS had just begun his course of antibiotics, and severe reactions were rare. Yet, a chilling question lingered. Why did his paranoia emerge before he even swallowed his first pill? Another unsettling theory surfaced. Could the head injury he incurred during that fateful bar fight have unleashed a wave of neurological chaos? A perforated eardrum alone wouldn't usually spiral into paranoia. But what if he had endured a concussion or some other insidious brain injury? If that head trauma had warped his perception, what dark truths lay hidden in the shadows of his mind? In the shadowy corridors of his mind, a chilling realization took hold. He felt the weight of unseen eyes upon him, a sensation that gripped him with an icy panic as he navigated the bustling airport clinic. Whispers of speculation swirled around him, hinting at the possibility of a sinister transformation, perhaps post-concussion syndrome or a haunting form of trance psychosis, both born from the trauma he had endured. Yet, without the clarity of a medical examination in the aftermath, the truth remained shrouded in uncertainty. Meanwhile, Lara's mother stood firm in her conviction, rejecting the notion that her son had merely vanished into thin air. No, she believed something far more sinister had taken him, something real and terrifying. In the shadows of his last phone conversations, a chilling sense of danger loomed. He confided in her, his voice trembling with unease, that he felt eyes upon him, a sinister presence lurking just out of sight. She struggled to dismiss his fears as mere paranoia, for whispers of a deeper truth began to surface. Reports hinted at his mention of being pursued by a group of men, their intentions shrouded in mystery, possibly linked to a brutal altercation just days prior. Was it possible that he had unwittingly stepped into a treacherous web? entangled in something far more sinister than a simple bar brawl. Speculation hung heavy in the air as the pieces of this dark puzzle began to fall into place. In the seemingly idyllic setting of Golden Sands, a popular tourist haven, lurked shadows that whispered of danger. Lars, a young man seeking adventure, may have unwittingly stepped into a web of criminal activity. This paradise, known for its sun-soaked beaches, also bore the scars of sinister underbelly. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, and organized crime thrived in the shadows. Reports of tourists falling victim to robbery or intimidation were not uncommon, with some even encountering individuals masquerading as law enforcement. It raises a chilling question. Had Lars crossed paths with the wrong crowd? His palpable fear and desperate plea for his mother to cancel his credit card might just hold the key to a harrowing truth lurking beneath the surface of his vacation. Card in hand, the question loomed large. Had someone attempted to extort him, or had he stumbled upon a secret that was never meant for his eyes? Despite the swirling theories, the truth remained elusive, with no concrete evidence to indicate he was being pursued. The security footage from the airport painted a solitary picture. Him leaving the clinic, sprinting into the unknown, utterly alone. Yet whispers lingered, suggesting that a more sinister presence lurked just beyond the trees, waiting for the right moment to strike. If fear gripped him, then fleeing into the woods might have felt like his only chance at survival. But what awaited him in the shadows? That was the chilling question that hung in the air. If that were the case, one might wonder why he didn't reach out to anyone afterward. Having successfully evaded whoever he believed was pursuing him, why didn't he seek help? As time slipped away, more questions began to surface, yet the answers remained frustratingly out of reach. His mother, driven by an unyielding hope, tirelessly searched for him. She enlisted the help of private investigators and collaborated with missing persons organizations, determined to raise awareness about her son's disappearance. Her desperate pleas echoed on television, urging anyone with information to come forward. Posters bearing Lara's face were plastered across Bulgaria and Germany, a haunting reminder of the mystery that lingered in the shadows. Online forums buzzed with fervor, dissecting every detail of his mysterious disappearance. Despite the relentless pursuit of answers, the truth remained elusive, shrouded in a veil of uncertainty. The haunting question lingered. What truly happened to him after he vanished into the depths of the forest? If he had merely lost his way, surely the authorities would have uncovered some trace, a backpack, a piece of clothing, perhaps even his phone. Yet, nothing emerged from the shadows. It was as if he had slipped away into nothingness. The theories that emerged were a tapestry of speculation, weaving together the plausible and the utterly bizarre. In a tale that twists and turns through the shadows of uncertainty, some whispered that he had succumbed to a mental breakdown, retreating into the wilderness, perhaps oblivious to his own identity. Others, gripped by fear, speculated that he had fallen victim to a sinister kidnapping or met a grim fate at the hands of a stranger after his hasty departure from the airport. The more audacious among them even entertained the notion of government conspiracies or clandestine experiments, though these theories were as unfounded as they were chilling. As the days turned into weeks, the enigma surrounding Els Mittank only grew more profound. His family, steadfast in their hope, found themselves battling against the relentless tide of time and the scarcity of new leads, their resolve tested as the mystery deepened around them. In a haunting tale of mystery and despair, the search unfolded with no body, no belongings, and no confirmed sightings after that fateful day. The case, though open, became stagnant, a chilling reminder of the unanswered questions that lingered in the air. Occasionally, whispers of supposed sightings of Laws emerged from various corners of the globe, yet none could be substantiated. His mother, a beacon of unwavering hope, clung to the belief that he was out there somewhere, alive, and waiting to be discovered. Despite the absence of solid evidence, investigators and amateur sleuths delved deep into the enigmatic case of Large Mink, tirelessly piecing together the fragments of the events that led to his mysterious disappearance. One of the most significant questions lingered in the air, haunting and unresolved. What, after all, had driven him to flee the airport clinic in such a frantic state? Just moments from boarding a plane that would take him home, he had appeared calm, collected, ready to leave Bulgaria behind. Yet, something sinister must have gripped him, compelling him to abandon everything. His luggage, his phone, his very passport, as if his life depended on it. Whispers of a possible explanation began to surface. Had Lars succumbed to a debilitating paranoia, perhaps a dark shadow cast by his head injury? Though no official word confirmed this theory, the chilling implications were enough to send shivers down the spine. In the aftermath of that fateful night, whispers began to circulate among experts, hinting at the possibility that he had endured a traumatic brain injury. This injury, they speculated, could have warped his perception of reality, leading him down a dark path of heightened anxiety, confusion, and even paranoia. It was a chilling thought. Was he truly being followed, or was it merely a figment of a mind in turmoil? Yet, the records told a different story. After the brutal altercation at the bar, his medical diagnosis was shockingly limited to a perforated eardrum. No comprehensive neurological evaluation was conducted, leaving the door wide open to the haunting question: what if Lars had suffered far more than anyone realized? In the shadows of a seemingly ordinary hotel, a man spiraled into a world of paranoia. Witnesses observed his erratic behavior, a restless figure who seemed perpetually on edge, glancing over his shoulder as if the very walls were closing in on him. He vanished into the night, leaving the hotel for hours, consumed by an unseen dread. Whispers circulated about his claims of men lurking in the darkness, threats that only he could perceive. His mother, reflecting on his troubled state, recalled his cryptic warnings about avoiding a group of men, though the truth of those fears remained shrouded in uncertainty. In the dimly lit corners of the bar, chaos erupted, and amidst the fray, a darker narrative began to unfold. Lars, a man caught in the throes of a medication known as sapine, faced a potential unraveling of his mind. This antibiotic, typically benign, held a sinister secret, rare neurological side effects that could twist reality into a nightmarish confusion or even hallucinations. Was it possible that Lars, grappling with the shadows of his own anxiety and paranoia, found himself spiraling deeper into madness due to this drug? Yet, the truth remained elusive. No concrete evidence surfaced to suggest he had ingested a quantity sufficient to unleash such turmoil. As the night wore on, his behavior grew increasingly erratic, leaving those around him to wonder just how far the descent had gone. Long before he stepped into the doctor's office, a sinister change had begun to take root in his behavior. It was as if an unseen force had ignited a deep-seated fear within him, one that many whispered might be justified. Some speculated that Lara's paranoia was not mere delusion, but rather a chilling awareness of real danger lurking in the shadows. Rumors swirled, suggesting he had crossed paths with criminals or human traffickers, their predatory eyes set on him. Golden Sands, a seemingly idyllic tourist haven, harbored a dark underbelly of organized crime. Tales of unsuspecting visitors falling prey to scams, thefts, and even abductions painted a grim picture of a paradise tainted by malevolence. Found himself ensnared in a web of danger, where every decision could lead to dire consequences. The chilling thought lingers that Lars, perhaps unwittingly, crossed paths with individuals whose intentions were far from benign. Was it a simple misunderstanding that spiraled out of control, or a failed scam that left him vulnerable? The shadows of his choices loom large, hinting at a darker narrative. The unsettling notion that he could have been threatened or blackmailed into illegal activities paints a grim picture. Some speculate that he may have been forced to transport illicit goods, perhaps drugs or contraband, unaware of the perilous path he was treading. If he had come to this realization too late, the stakes would have been impossibly high, leaving him trapped in a nightmare of his own making. In a moment of sheer panic, he attempted to escape, a frantic reaction that could shed light on his desperate plea to his mother to cancel his credit card. His insistence on never lingering in one spot hinted at a deep-seated fear, as if he believed unseen eyes were tracking his every move. Running away seemed like the only path left to him, yet the chilling truth remained. No concrete evidence supported this theory. Security footage from the airport revealed no pursuers in sight, and the absence of reports regarding any known criminals lurking nearby only deepened the mystery. If Lars had indeed been a target, the shadows offered no clues as to who might have been behind it all. As the days morphed into weeks, the relentless search for Lars pressed on, yet hope began to wane. Authorities in Bulgaria widened their search radius, scouring neighboring towns and the desolate rural landscapes for any trace of him. Helicopters buzzed overhead, while search teams meticulously combed through the dense forest where he had last been spotted. But despite their exhaustive efforts, the silence of the woods offered no solace. Nothing was found. In a heart-wrenching display of desperation, his mother took matters into her own hands, flying to Bulgaria. She wandered through the airport and its surroundings, driven by an unyielding hope that a single clue might illuminate the dark path to her missing son. The absence of evidence led some to speculate that Lars may have met his end in the unforgiving wilderness. If he had pressed on into the forest without supplies, the harsh realities of dehydration, injury, or exposure could have claimed him. Yet if that were the truth, why did search teams uncover no trace of him? No body, no clothing, no personal belongings, nothing ever surfaced. Even more perplexing was the total vanishing of Lara's phone. Had he been clutching it when he vanished into thin air? Had he fled, or had he carelessly abandoned it somewhere? If the phone had been activated at any moment after his disappearance, it could have provided crucial clues for investigators to follow his trail. Yet, there was no sign of its use. If someone else had stumbled upon it, they might have discarded it, effectively erasing any chance of tracing Lars's final movements. As the days turned into weeks, the case took on an eerie quality. The last known footage of Lars, captured in a frantic dash from the airport, became one of the most chilling pieces of evidence in the mystery of his vanishing. In the shadows of a young man's life, a chilling narrative unfolded as he fled, desperation etched across his face, only to vanish without a trace. The haunting footage ignited a firestorm of theories online. Some whispered of a mental health crisis, while others posited a more sinister escape from an unseen threat. His mother, a beacon of unwavering hope, could not accept the grim possibility that he had perished in the depths of the forest. Instead, she clung to the belief that he might still be out there, lost in the fog of amnesia, or perhaps living under an alias, a ghost in the world he once knew. In a relentless pursuit of justice, she dedicated herself to keeping his case alive, making appearances on television, connecting with international organizations, and imploring anyone with knowledge to step forward. Yet, as the days turned into months, the leads dwindled and the theories multiplied, leaving the fate of Lars Mittank shrouded in enigma. His disappearance stands as one of the most perplexing unsolved cases of our time. The absence of physical evidence, coupled with the eerie details surrounding his final moments, has transformed his story into a haunting mystery that continues to captivate and confound. As the years slipped by, the shadow of Lars Mittank loomed larger, a chilling reminder of the unknown. The disappearance lingered in the shadows, an open case shrouded in mystery, with scant new evidence emerging. His mother, Sandra, steadfast and unwavering, refused to relinquish hope. She tirelessly continued her search for her son, determined to keep his story alive in the public consciousness. In her heart, she clung to the belief that Lars was still out there, perhaps suffering from amnesia or hiding in the depths of obscurity, oblivious to the relentless efforts to find him. Yet, as time passed and leads dwindled, the case grew colder, leaving authorities with little more than the haunting echoes of the last moments captured on surveillance footage, a chilling reminder of the unknown fate that awaited Lars. The investigation unfolded with a chilling frustration, marked by an eerie absence of physical evidence in the case of Lars's disappearance. Under ordinary circumstances, authorities would uncover clues, belongings, clothing, or even eyewitnesses who might have glimpsed the missing person after their last known sighting. But in Lars's case, the silence was deafening. His luggage, passport, and phone lay abandoned at the airport, stripping him of any means to access money or reach out for help. If he had somehow survived, the question lingered. How could he navigate the world without any of his personal effects? And if he had met a darker fate, what secrets did the void of evidence conceal? In the heart of the wilderness, a chilling mystery unfolds. Why had no remains ever been discovered? Authorities and online sleuths tirelessly delved into the possible explanations, each theory more haunting than the last. Some speculated that Lars may have faced a mental health crisis, a dark descent triggered by the weight of stress, injury, and medication. If paranoia or delusions had taken hold, he might have fled into the unforgiving wild, seeking refuge from an imagined threat. In this grim scenario, he could have fallen victim to the merciless elements, his body swallowed by the dense forest, perhaps scavenged by lurking predators before it could ever be found. Despite extensive searches of the area yielding no clues, the possibility of Lars's disappearance remained shrouded in uncertainty. Another theory emerged, suggesting that he might have successfully hitchhiked or found some means of transportation away from the vicinity. While there were no confirmed sightings of him being picked up, whispers circulated that he could have wandered into a nearby town, seeking shelter or perhaps unwittingly falling into the clutches of those with sinister intentions. The grim realities of human trafficking and forced labor loomed large, leading some to speculate that Lars may have been abducted, a chilling thought that sent shivers down the spine of those who followed his story. Were drawn into a web of manipulation, forced to labor under the shadow of a sinister figure. Yet, the flaw in this narrative lies in the very nature of Lars himself, a robust adult, physically capable, and seemingly not the type to fall prey to such a scheme. Whispers of sightings emerged, scattered like breadcrumbs across distant lands, but none were substantiated. Eyewitnesses claimed to have spotted him in various countries, lost and wandering, a ghost of his former self, disoriented and unaware of his own identity. His mother, relentless in her pursuit, chased every lead, only to be met with the cruel passage of time that offered no solace or answers. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that many leads led to dead ends. Some of the supposed sightings turned out to be nothing more than cases of mistaken identity, while others were too vague to be confirmed. Yet, one of the more chilling possibilities loomed large. What if Lars had encountered foul play after leaving the airport? If he had genuinely felt he was in danger, it was conceivable that he had been fleeing from a very real threat. Some investigators speculated that he might have crossed paths with the wrong people, slipping into the wilderness where criminals, opportunists, or even those who perceived him as vulnerable could have been lurking, ready to pounce. In a chilling twist, the absence of a body in this haunting case raises unsettling questions. It hints at the possibility that the perpetrator went to extraordinary lengths to conceal their heinous act. Yet, with no leads, no suspects, and no evidence to guide the investigation, these notions linger in the realm of pure speculation. As the years rolled on after his mysterious disappearance, the case captivated the public's imagination, particularly among those drawn to the dark allure of unsolved mysteries. Online forums buzzed with fervor as true crime enthusiasts and amateur sleuths meticulously dissected every fragment of the case, desperate to unearth any overlooked clue that might shed light on this enigmatic disappearance. In the dim light of the airport, some have scrutinized the footage with an intensity that borders on obsession, searching for any hint in his body language, facial expressions, and movements. Others have embarked on a relentless quest to retrace his final steps, meticulously piecing together the fragments of his last days in Bulgaria. Yet, despite this relentless examination, no significant breakthrough has emerged. His mother, a fierce and unwavering advocate, has taken to the airwaves and public forums, tirelessly campaigning to keep her son's case alive in the hearts and minds of the public. She has traveled far and wide, appearing on television and speaking at events, imploring people to remember her son and the mystery that surrounds his disappearance. The search for him persists, a relentless pursuit fueled by the haunting uncertainty that lingers in the air, until definitive proof of his fate emerges. The possibility remains that he could still be alive. Laura, in her quest for answers, has enlisted the help of forensic experts and psychologists, delving into the depths of his psyche to uncover the motivations behind his desperate flight. One of the most chilling elements of this mystery is the footage that captured Lara's disappearance. A grainy recording of him sprinting from the airport, panic etched across his face. This unsettling moment has been scrutinized by millions, each frame dissected in the hopes of unraveling the enigma that surrounds his actions. In the dimly lit corridors of the airport, a figure emerges, his fear palpable, his movements frantic. He is not just jogging, he is sprinting as if the very air around him crackles with danger. What unseen terror drives him to flee? If there was a threat lurking within those walls, why did it go unnoticed by the throngs of travelers? And if someone pursued him, how did they slip through the cracks of surveillance? Years have passed, yet the enigma of Lars Mittank remains, a haunting reminder of the shadows that can swallow a person whole, leaving only questions in their wake. The theories surrounding Lars Mittank's disappearance are as varied as they are chilling. Some suggest a logical explanation, while others delve into the realm of the bizarre. There are whispers that he may have suffered a mental breakdown, losing himself in the vast wilderness, while others speculate about a more sinister fate, abduction, or even being swept into a shadowy underground operation. With no concrete evidence to illuminate the truth, the case remains shrouded in darkness. His family clings to hope, yearning for answers, whether that means finding Lars alive or finally uncovering the grim reality of his fate. Their determination to keep searching is unwavering, and until the truth is revealed, the enigma of Lars Mittank lingers, an open case that haunts the minds of those who dare to ponder it. The tale of Lars MK's disappearance is one that sends shivers down the spine, haunting those who have dared to follow his story. It leaves behind a trail of questions that seem to multiply, casting a shadow over the lives of investigators, his family, and countless others captivated by the enigma. Years have passed, yet the mystery remains unsolved, with speculation and theories swirling like ghosts in the night. The chilling video footage of Lars sprinting from the airport plays on repeat in the minds of many, a haunting reminder of his last known moments. Meanwhile, his mother's relentless quest for the truth keeps the flame of this case alive, ensuring that it will not be forgotten. In the glaring spotlight of public interest, the search for Mars has become a haunting tale, shrouded in mystery and unanswered questions. Despite the extensive resources poured into uncovering his fate, it lingers as a profound enigma. Whispers of a more sinister narrative swirl around his disappearance, with with a particular group of theorists suggesting that Mars may have been entangled in something perilous. Whether it was criminal activity, human trafficking, or another dark form of exploitation, the eerie circumstances surrounding his departure from the airport raise unsettling questions. He didn't just leave. He vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a chilling void that begs for answers. In a scene that could have been plucked from the pages of a chilling novel, he fled, his movements frantic and desperate, as if pursued by unseen forces. Some speculate that this panic was not merely a flight from danger, but a harrowing escape from those who sought to do him harm. Yet, the truth remains elusive, shrouded in shadows and whispers. His mother often grapples with the haunting question: was Lars coerced into a situation beyond his comprehension, or did he unwittingly cross paths with individuals who pose a grave threat? Others argue that the turmoil within Lars was rooted in a mental health crisis, one that had been simmering beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt into chaos. His battle with paranoia, confusion, and fear loomed like a dark cloud, threatening to engulf him in a psychotic break. Such a descent could illuminate the erratic behavior that puzzled those around him. If delusions had indeed taken root in his mind, he might have conjured up threats and dangers that existed only in the shadows of his imagination. The injury he sustained, a cruel twist of fate, could have laid the groundwork for his fragile mental state, as the insidious effects of concussions and head trauma are well documented in their capacity to trigger psychiatric turmoil. Some contend that Lars, lost in the throes of his own mind, may have slipped into a psychotic state, wandering aimlessly into the wilderness, a victim of his own unraveling sanity. In the shadows of uncertainty, he ventured forth, oblivious to the peril that loomed over him. The theory, while compelling, lacked the solid foundation of medical evidence to substantiate any claims of brain injury, rendering it a mere whisper of speculation. Despite relentless efforts to unravel the mystery, the truth remained elusive. No trace of Lars had surfaced. No confirmed sightings or credible reports hinted at his existence in any corner of the globe. His phone, a potential beacon of hope, vanished without a trace, and his luggage, once a vessel of clues, remained lost to the abyss, leaving only questions in its wake. Intentions linger in the shadows, a haunting question that echoes through the corridors of uncertainty. If LS had escaped the airport's grasp, where did he vanish to? Why did he not reach out to his family, leaving them in a void of silence? This absence of clarity continues to shroud the case in a perplexing fog, tormenting his loved ones. The agony of not knowing what fate befell Lars is a burden too heavy to bear. His mother, Sandra, has become a voice in the darkness, tirelessly advocating for answers, illuminating the chilling reality that her son's disappearance remains unsolved. She holds onto the belief that there are still those among us who possess the truth, and perhaps one day, the shadows will yield to light, revealing what truly happened to Lars. Come forward with the truth. It's a sentiment echoed by many, a haunting belief that Elle's story remains unfinished. There lingers a flicker of hope for closure, whether it lies in the possibility of finding him alive or unraveling the dark mystery surrounding his fate. This hope fuels the fire, keeping the case alive in the collective consciousness of the public. In the years since Lars's disappearance, his case has captivated true crime enthusiasts, drawing in armchair detectives who scour forums and social media platforms dedicated to the plight of the missing. In the shadows of investigation, every piece of evidence has been meticulously dissected, with the security footage replayed countless times in search of elusive clues that may have slipped through the cracks. Some observers claim they can discern signs of Lara's behavior within the frames, subtle hints that whisper of his mental state and the terror that gripped him. Yet, despite the fervent analysis, the truth remains shrouded in uncertainty. What drove him to flee, and why has he vanished without a trace? There are whispers among the community, a lingering belief that Lars might still be out there, lost in a labyrinth of confusion and fear, forever disconnected from the world he once knew. In the shadows of a life once lived, there lingers a chilling hope that new evidence might emerge, illuminating the dark corners of a case that has captivated many. The disappearance of Mars Mittank stands as a haunting enigma, a stark reminder of how a fleeting moment can irrevocably change the trajectory of a person's existence. Each twist and turn in this tale leads deeper into the abyss of the unknown, where Mars's fate remains shrouded in mystery. His family, along with the countless souls drawn into this tragic narrative, cling to the fragile thread of hope for resolution, no matter how elusive it may seem. Until that time, his disappearance will remain an enigma, a young man who vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a haunting video that lingers in the minds of those who dare to watch it. What happened to Lars Mink? The answer, it appears, continues to evade us. Then there's the tale of Amelia Earhart, a name that echoed through history long before her own mysterious vanishing act. She was a pioneer, an aviator who shattered barriers and set records that many deemed unattainable for a woman of her era. Earhart's remarkable feats in aviation were nothing short of extraordinary. Groundbreaking and iconic, she emerged as a symbol of women's empowerment, shattering the notion that gender could hinder success. Yet in 1937, her life would take a sudden and tragic turn, spiraling into one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. On July 2nd, 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, vanished without a trace while attempting to circumnavigate the globe. They left behind a haunting trail of unanswered questions. With great ambition, she embarked on her flight, having already etched her name in the annals of history through numerous long-distance journeys. In 1932, she became the first woman to fly solo across the vast Atlantic Ocean, a feat that required not just courage but meticulous preparation. Mentally and physically ready, she embarked on a journey that would take her around the world. Alongside her was Fred Noonan, an experienced navigator, and together they had already conquered significant portions of their route, skillfully maneuvering through some of the globe's most challenging stretches. Their path was not left to chance. It was a carefully orchestrated plan, with each refueling stop chosen with precision to ensure their aircraft would have the necessary fuel to continue the perilous journey ahead. On the day of their departure, the air was thick with anticipation as history awaited their next move. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Amelia and Fred were on the cusp of completing their journey, drawing closer to the enigmatic island of Holland nestled in the central Pacific Ocean. Their next destination, Allen Island, awaited them for a crucial refueling stop, with expectations set for their arrival in the early morning hours. Yet, in a twist of fate, Amelia's Lockheed Electra aircraft vanished into the vastness of the ocean, never reaching its intended haven. The last haunting echoes of communication came through a radio transmission, where Amelia's voice trembled with uncertainty, revealing her struggle to pinpoint the elusive island she believed she was flying over. The mystery deepened, leaving behind only questions and an unsettling silence. As the ocean stretched endlessly before her, the horizon vanished into a haunting void, and her voice, once steady, began to tremble with desperation. Despite the frantic attempts to reach her, the signal faded into silence, and she slipped into the abyss, never to be heard from again. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan ignited an urgent response, as the U.S. government and Coast Guard mobilized an unprecedented search operation. They scoured the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Pacific Ocean, driven by the hope of uncovering any trace of the lost aircraft. This search would become one of the largest in history, drawing hundreds of ships and aircraft into its relentless pursuit. Yet, despite the monumental effort, The ocean held its secrets close, leaving only questions in its wake. In the shadowy depths of aviation history, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart remains an enigma that haunts the skies. As investigators scoured the vast expanse of ocean, they found nothing of significance. Only the haunting echoes of the final radio transmissions, cryptic whispers that offered no solace or clarity about the fate of the plane or its brave occupants. Days morphed into weeks, and weeks into months, as the mystery deepened, leaving the world in a state of restless anticipation, desperate for answers. Almost immediately, theories began to swirl like a tempest, each one more tantalizing than the last. Among them, the most prevalent suggested that Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, simply ran out of fuel. The Lockheed Electra was said to be equipped with enough fuel to reach Howland Island, yet some speculated that fate had other plans, leading them into the abyss of the unknown. As the story unfolds, we find ourselves grappling with the chilling possibility that the aircraft's fuel gauges were not just faulty, but perhaps a harbinger of doom. The pilots, in their desperate bid to navigate the vast expanse of the ocean, may have misjudged their fuel consumption, leading them into a disorienting spiral of uncertainty. The haunting thought lingers. Did they lose their way, ultimately succumbing to the depths of the sea? Despite this theory gaining traction, the absence of any wreckage casts a long shadow of doubt over their fate. Another unsettling theory emerges. Could it be that Art and Noonan, faced with the isolation of Allen Island, became hopelessly lost, their limited navigational aids proving inadequate in the face of nature's vastness? The mystery deepens, leaving us to ponder the fate of those who vanished into the unknown. In the shadowy depths of the 1930s, a time when technology was but a flickering candle compared to the blazing light of today, Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan found themselves armed with little more than navigation charts and rudimentary radio communication. The vast expanse of the ocean loomed before them, a treacherous expanse where miscalculations could spell disaster. It's whispered that they may have veered off course, lost in the labyrinth of their own confusion. Some say the island they sought was a phantom, elusive and shrouded in mystery, leading them far from their intended destination. And then, there's the chilling possibility that Earhart and Noonan were compelled to make a desperate emergency landing, their fate hanging in the balance as the world watched and waited, unaware of the dark turn their journey would take. In the shadowy depths of the Pacific Ocean lies an unknown island, a place where the search for the missing aircraft unfolded in a desperate race against time. In the days that followed their mysterious vanishing, efforts were relentless, yet the sheer expanse of the ocean loomed large, suggesting that the plane may have succumbed to the depths in a desolate, uncharted region, forever lost to the world. Over the years, whispers of possible wreckage or remnants of the aircraft have surfaced from various Pacific islands, tantalizing claims that have never been definitively substantiated. In the wake of this enigma, numerous expeditions were launched, each one driven by the hope of uncovering the truth behind the heart-wrenching disappearance. In a relentless pursuit of the truth, expeditions were launched to uncover the secrets of her vanished aircraft. The most notable of these took place in 1939, when a U.S. Navy ship scoured the treacherous waters surrounding Howland Island, yet the elusive wreckage remained hidden from view. Subsequent searches, some as recent as the 1990s, followed suit, but they too returned empty-handed. Despite the leaps in technology, with radar and sonar at their disposal, the fate of Amelia Earhart's plane remained shrouded in mystery. As the years slipped by, the enigma of her disappearance only deepened, giving rise to a multitude of theories that continued to captivate the imagination of many. Whispers of a dark fate surround the enigmatic Amelia Earhart, with some theorists positing that she was captured by the Japanese, perhaps while soaring over the vast Pacific during the tumultuous days of World War II. This chilling narrative suggests that Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, were mistaken for spies, leading to their imprisonment by the Japanese military. Yet, despite the allure of this tale, no evidence has ever surfaced to lend it credence, leaving it shrouded in speculation. Other theories, while captivating, have similarly failed to unearth solid proof. Some even propose that Earhart survived a harrowing crash landing, slipping into obscurity and living the remainder of her days under an assumed identity. This theory, though tantalizing, remains just as elusive as the truth itself. Unlikely as it may seem, the enigma of her disappearance has lingered through the years, shrouded in a veil of uncertainty and a scarcity of evidence. Despite the myriad of theories that have emerged, the true fate of Amelia Earhart remains an elusive shadow, forever haunting the minds of those captivated by her story. This case continues to grip the imagination of people across the globe, each pondering the fate of the pioneering aviator. Her vanishing act stands as one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century, with no answers in sight, leaving a trail of speculation and intrigue in its wake. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart has become a subject of relentless fascination, a puzzle that refuses to be solved. Decades have passed, and yet the enigma surrounding her fate remains unsolved. Numerous theories have emerged, but none have garnered a consensus on what truly happened to her. Each year, new expeditions and research projects are initiated, driven by the hope of uncovering a clue that might finally unravel the mystery. Some believe the answer lies beneath the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, while others contend that the truth may be lurking on an uncharted island or concealed within government records. The lack of definitive evidence only serves to intensify the speculation and intrigue surrounding her disappearance, making it one of the most enduring mysteries of our time. The theories surrounding Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, paint a haunting picture of their final moments. It is believed that they crashed somewhere in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean after depleting their fuel reserves. According to this chilling narrative, their Lockheed Electra was ensnared by navigational errors and miscalculations, rendering them unable to locate the elusive Howland Island. The island, shrouded in mystery, proved difficult to spot, and the aircraft's radio transmissions revealed Earhart's growing desperation as she struggled to find her way. Her last known communication echoed a sense of urgency, as she reported running low on fuel and still unable to pinpoint the island. The eerie absence of any wreckage in the vicinity only deepens the enigma of their fate, leaving behind a haunting silence where answers should lie. Though the plane may have plunged into the depths of the ocean, the chilling reality remains that no definitive remains of the aircraft have ever been unearthed. Despite the exhaustive search efforts that followed its mysterious disappearance, the absence of wreckage has cast a shadow of doubt over the prevailing theories. It seems almost unfathomable that a plane could simply vanish, leaving behind no trace, particularly given the vast expanse of the search area. Over the years, countless expeditions have meticulously combed through the Pacific, employing cutting-edge technology in a relentless quest for any sign of the lost aircraft. As the search for the aircraft continued, hope began to wane. Despite extensive efforts, nothing of significance had been uncovered. Some whispered that the relentless ocean currents had scattered any remnants, rendering the plane's location a mystery. Yet, this theory did little to quell the growing confusion and frustration that enveloped the case. Another chilling possibility emerged. What if the pilot and co-pilot had survived the crash? This unsettling notion proposed that after their plane plummeted into the depths, they found themselves marooned on an uncharted island, forced to construct a makeshift camp in the unforgiving wilderness. In a desperate bid for survival, they found themselves stranded, waiting for a rescue that seemed increasingly unlikely. As the hours turned into days, their supplies began to dwindle, leaving them isolated and cut off from the outside world. Whispers of possible sightings emerged, tales of locals spotting a woman who bore a striking resemblance to Earhart on nearby islands. Yet, these accounts remained shrouded in uncertainty, lacking the solid proof needed to confirm that she had indeed survived, retreating into the shadows of obscurity. Among the myriad of theories circulating, one of the most captivating delves into the enigmatic possibilities surrounding her fate, igniting the imaginations of those who seek to unravel this enduring mystery. There exists a chilling possibility that art fell into the hands of the Japanese. According to this unsettling theory, art and Noonan's plane may have inadvertently crossed into enemy territory, leading to their capture. Advocates of this theory contend that the U.S. government was fully aware of their plight, but opted for silence, fearing that disclosure could ignite an international crisis. This theory gained momentum during the tumultuous days of World War II, as whispers of art's potential captivity in Japan began to circulate. Some even go so far as to suggest that she became a pawn in a sinister game of propaganda, used to manipulate public perception and morale. In the shadows of history, whispers abound regarding the enigmatic figure of Amelia Earhart. While some are drawn to the tantalizing theory that she may have been involved in a covert operation for the U.S. government, the evidence remains elusive. The allure of this narrative captivates the imagination, yet the absence of reliable reports or documentation casts a long shadow of doubt. Was her legendary flight merely an attempt to shatter records, or was it a calculated move in a larger, clandestine game? The mystery deepens, leaving us to ponder the truth behind her fateful disappearance. In a tale shrouded in mystery and intrigue, the narrative of espionage unfolds, suggesting that her disappearance was not a mere accident, but a carefully crafted scheme to erase her from the public consciousness. Whispers circulated that Earhart's aircraft was laden with sensitive materials, perhaps even secrets that could alter the course of history. Some theorized that she was intentionally diverted from her intended path, a calculated move to evade detection. Yet, as the shadows of speculation loom large, the absence of concrete evidence leaves this theory hanging by a thread, teetering on the edge of the implausible. Meanwhile, a more contemporary hypothesis emerges, positing that Amelia Earhart may have vanished in a vast expanse of the Pacific, an area far more extensive than anyone had previously imagined. Once upon a time, the depths of the ocean held secrets long buried beneath the waves, waiting for the right moment to be uncovered. With the relentless march of technology, researchers have ventured into these shadowy realms, probing areas once deemed unreachable. Among the whispers of the deep, some speculate that these newfound territories might just harbor the answers to an enduring enigma. In recent years, a series of daring expeditions have set sail, their eyes fixed on potential wreck sites, particularly the mysterious waters surrounding Nikumaroro Island. Here, in this desolate paradise, the legend of Amelia Earhart lingers, suggesting that her ill-fated plane may have met its end on this forsaken isle, left to succumb to the relentless embrace of time. As investigators sift through the remnants of the past, they have unearthed fragments of metal, bones, and other haunting relics, each piece a testament to a story waiting to be told. On that enigmatic island, a collection of objects lies scattered, whispering secrets that some claim could be tied to Amelia Earhart's fateful disappearance. Yet, despite the myriad of theories swirling like a tempest, no definitive proof has emerged. The truth, it seems, dances just out of reach. Each new discovery, each tantalizing lead, only deepens the mystery, leaving those fervently seeking answers in a state of frustration and yearning for closure. What truly became of Amelia Earhart? Did she plunge into the depths of the ocean? Was she marooned on an uncharted isle, captured by the Japanese? Or was there something far more sinister at play? The questions linger, haunting the minds of those captivated by her story. What happened to her remains shrouded in mystery, leaving questions that may never find resolution. For decades, these unanswered queries have haunted not just her family and friends, but anyone who has dared to follow her story. The unsolved disappearance of Amelia Earhart transcends mere historical event. It is a captivating puzzle that has ensnared the imaginations of generations. It is a tale woven with threads of ambition, bravery, and the chilling unknown. In many respects, the enigma of her vanishing reflects the pioneering spirit that Earhart embodied throughout her life. A woman who defied convention and refused to be confined. Obstacles loomed large in her path, and her disappearance serves as a haunting reminder of the perilous nature of pushing boundaries. Amelia Earhart, an iconic figure in aviation history, left behind a story that is anything but finished. In the years that followed her vanishing, public fascination with the case only intensified. Theories emerged like shadows in the night, each one more intriguing than the last, as many clung to the belief that the fate of the daring aviator would not remain shrouded in mystery forever. Among them were her family and friends, who held onto a flicker of hope that Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, would one day be found. They had survived, arrived, and were still alive. The need to uncover the truth was palpable, as others were determined to dig deep, no matter how long it took. One of the most persistent theories that emerged suggested that Earhart and Noonan had been stranded on an island, possibly Nikomororo, a small, uninhabited speck in the Central Pacific. This theory gained traction following a series of expeditions to the island in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. In 1940, 3 years after Earhart's disappearance, a British colonial officer, in a tale steeped in mystery, Gerald Gallagher embarked on an expedition to the remote Nikomororo Island, a venture commissioned by the British government. It was there, amidst the rugged terrain, that he stumbled upon a chilling discovery: human bones, remnants a life long extinguished. These bones were subsequently transported to Fiji for analysis, yet the findings yielded nothing conclusive. Over the years, whispers among researchers suggested that these skeletal remains might belong to the ill-fated aviator Amelia Earhart, based on their peculiar size and shape. However, the truth remained elusive, shrouded in uncertainty. As fate would have it, the bones vanished during the chaos of World War II, their whereabouts slipping into the shadows of history. In the aftermath, numerous expeditions ventured back to the island, each seeking answers to the haunting questions left behind. On the remote shores of Nikomororo, a chilling narrative unfolds. Recent discoveries of aircraft wreckage and various artifacts have ignited speculation among researchers, who ponder whether these remnants are connected to the fateful flight of Amelia Earhart. Yet, the evidence remains shrouded in ambiguity, circumstantial at best. Adding to the intrigue, local islanders have recounted eerie sightings of a woman strikingly similar to Earhart. According to some accounts, she and her companion, Noonan, were taken in by the island's inhabitants following the catastrophic crash of their plane, weaving a haunting tale of survival and mystery that lingers in the air. 2 souls were held captive until their untimely ends. Yet, the reports surrounding their plight have been largely dismissed, shrouded in a veil of unverifiable evidence. The notion that art could have endured for years on a desolate, uninhabited island is tantalizing, but remains unsubstantiated. Despite countless expeditions and an array of claims, the truth of art's fate lingers in the shadows, an enigma that refuses to be unraveled. Over the years, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart has ensnared the minds of many, from seasoned investigators to the curious public, each drawn into the web of mystery that surrounds her vanishing act. In the shadows of intrigue, amateur sleuths emerged, each one determined to unravel the enigma surrounding Earhart's fateful flight. Some fixated on the chilling notion that her plane had been deliberately sabotaged, while others whispered a mechanical failure that led to her tragic descent. Yet, a darker theory began to take root. Could it be that the aviator was entangled in a covert mission for the U.S. government? Her disappearance, they argued, was no mere accident, but a calculated move in a larger, classified operation. This theory gained traction in the years that followed World War II, as the specter of the Cold War loomed large, shrouding the truth in layers of secrecy and suspicion. In the shadowy corners of history, secret operations have whispered their way around the globe. Yet the theory surrounding her disappearance has never been backed by solid proof, leaving it as a mere flicker of possibility. Fast forward to the early 2000s, when a group of determined researchers, spearheaded by Dr. Richard Gillespie, turned their gaze to the enigmatic McMurdo Island. Their quest unearthed intriguing artifacts, a fragment of aluminum that hinted at an aircraft's presence, alongside other curious relics like shoes and a bottle, potentially linked to her fate. Earhart or Noonan, a team entwined with the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, has embarked on numerous expeditions to the island over the years. Their relentless pursuit seeks to uncover evidence that might validate the theory of Earhart's plane crashing there. Yet, despite the compelling nature of the findings, they remain inconclusive. The debate rages on, shrouded in mystery as to whether this island serves as the final resting place of Earhart's aircraft. Ty has also delved into the radio transmissions made by Art during this enigmatic saga. In the final days of her ill-fated flight, the transmissions became increasingly fragmented, a haunting reflection of her growing desperation. Art, as she was known, seemed to spiral into frustration as the fuel in her tanks dwindled, her hopes of locating Howen Island slipping further away. Some researchers speculate that she may have miscalculated her position, veering far off course. If she found herself over Nikamororo Island, it's chilling to think she might not have realized how close she was to land, the island too small to be visible from the air. There lingers the unsettling possibility that Art was simply not in a position to make a desperate final attempt for survival. In a gripping twist of fate, an emergency landing on the island unfolded, shrouded in mystery. Was it mechanical failure or the cruel grip of fuel depletion? Had she attempted to touch down, the aircraft might have met a tragic end, its remnants swallowed by the relentless ocean waves, leaving searchers in a desperate hunt for any trace of wreckage. These recent findings have reignited interest in the case, yet the absence of concrete evidence looms large, casting a shadow of uncertainty. Despite countless expeditions, including those in recent years, the elusive remains of Earhart's aircraft have never been found, deepening the enigma that surrounds her disappearance. Despite the relentless pursuit of truth, the most compelling evidence, aluminum fragments and other artifacts unearthed on Nikamororo Island, remains frustratingly circumstantial and unproven. The enigma surrounding Amelia Earhart's disappearance lingers, casting a long shadow over both researchers and the public, leaving them in a state of perpetual uncertainty. The search for Amelia Earhart transcends the mere investigation of a vanished aircraft. It evolves into a haunting quest for closure and comprehension. Her disappearance symbolizes a tragic conclusion to a story that continues to captivate and perplex. In the annals of aviation history, there exists a tale of a pioneering aviator whose life was marked by remarkable achievements and an indomitable spirit that inspired countless souls. This narrative, steeped in intrigue, beckons us to ponder the boundaries of human tenacity, the enigmas of flight, and the secrets that lie beneath the expansive depths of the world's oceans. As the years unfurl and technological advancements unfold, a flicker of hope persists that one day, the enigma surrounding Amelia Earhart's disappearance will be unraveled, and the elusive truth will emerge from the shadows, despite the relentless march of time. The search for Amelia Earhart remains an ongoing effort, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. With each new advancement in technology, the flames of curiosity are reignited, captivating both researchers and the public. The case, steeped in theories and expeditions, continues to draw attention as those determined to uncover the truth test their hypotheses in hopes of finally revealing the fate of the pioneering aviator and her navigator, Fred Noonan. Recently, a dedicated group of researchers has embarked on a quest, meticulously examining Earhart's flight path, radio transmissions, and potential crash sites, armed with modern tools that could hold the key to solving this decades-old enigma. In a relentless pursuit of truth, the team meticulously re-examined the final moments, hoping to unravel the chilling mystery of her disappearance. Among the most significant breakthroughs in recent years emerged from a collection of high-resolution satellite images, captured over time as part of a determined effort to pinpoint potential crash sites around Nikumaroro Island. Utilizing advanced imaging techniques, these dedicated researchers unearthed several intriguing objects lurking in the ocean's depths, each one a potential clue in this haunting enigma. On a remote island, a series of objects have emerged from the depths of the ocean, some deemed inconclusive, while others ignite a flicker of excitement within the research community. The images reveal what seems to be a wreckage-like structure lurking beneath the waves, tantalizingly close to the island. This raises haunting questions about the fate of the plane, suggesting it may have met its end in these very waters. Though this discovery has yet to deliver the definitive proof linking it to Earhart's ill-fated journey, it marks a significant advancement in the relentless search, rekindling hope among the public and investigators alike that the truth may finally surface. In the relentless pursuit of answers, the mystery surrounding Amelia Earhart's disappearance continues to captivate and haunt. Recent expeditions have plunged into the depths of the ocean, armed with advanced technology like remotely operated vehicles and sonar equipment. These sophisticated tools sweep across vast stretches of the ocean floor, searching for any remnants that might reveal the fate of her Lockheed Electra. Despite the promising leads unearthed during these underwater searches, the elusive truth remains just out of reach, leaving researchers and enthusiasts alike in a gripping state of suspense. The quest for conclusive evidence is far from over, as the shadows of the past linger on the waves, waiting to be uncovered. In the shadows of history, a crucial aspect of the search lingers, holding the potential to unveil answers that have long evaded the grasp of researchers. Advanced technology now plays a pivotal role in these expeditions, offering a more thorough exploration of the area and igniting a flicker of hope that the enigma may finally be unraveled. As the relentless pursuit of Amelia Earhart continues, the case has captivated not just aviation enthusiasts and historians, but the public at large. The mystery of her disappearance has sparked a fervent interest in her life, drawing countless eyes to the haunting questions that remain unanswered. In a world captivated by the enigma of a vanished figure, countless individuals have flocked to the internet and various media platforms, eager to unravel the threads of a story steeped in mystery. Documentaries, books, and articles have emerged, each presenting a unique lens through which to view that fateful day in 1937. The intrigue surrounding her disappearance has been dissected from every conceivable angle, spawning a myriad of theories over the years. Some have scrutinized the flight route, while others have delved into the chilling possibilities of sabotage, mechanical failure, or even foul play. The quest for answers continues as the shadows of that day linger on, inviting speculation and debate. The details surrounding Art's final flight may forever remain shrouded in mystery. Yet, one truth stands unwavering. Her legacy lives on. Amelia Art is etched in our memories not just for her groundbreaking contributions to aviation, but for her unyielding courage determination, and pioneering spirit. She was a woman who shattered societal norms, soaring to heights that few could imagine, becoming one of the most renowned aviators in history. Her tragic disappearance has only deepened the enigma surrounding her life, transforming her into an enduring emblem of adventure, independence, and resilience. In many ways, her tale is a haunting reminder of the heights one can reach, even when the end remains unknown, remains a haunting enigma, captivating the hearts and minds of those who dare to seek the truth. Each generation, fueled by ambition and courage, steps into the shadows of the past, determined to unravel the threads of story that has eluded resolution for far too long. As technology advances, the possibility of uncovering new leads and clues grows ever more tantalizing. Will the answers be found lurking in the dark depths of the Pacific Ocean, hidden within the dusty pages of forgotten archives, or scattered like whispers along the shores of a desolate island? The fate of Amelia Earhart hangs in the balance, a mystery that continues to beckon the brave and the curious, promising that one day, the truth will emerge from the depths of obscurity, will continue to ensnare the minds of those who pursue the elusive truth as they endeavor to unravel the enigma surrounding one of aviation's most haunting mysteries. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart stands as an unresolved saga in the annals of flight, a tale that has endured through decades of probing inquiries and a myriad of theories. Yet, despite the relentless pursuit of answers, no one can definitively explain the fate of her and Fred Noonan. This case has morphed into a haunting emblem of the unknown, a stark reminder of the perils that accompany the quest into uncharted realms and the relentless drive of human ambition. The quest for answers persists, shrouded in the fog of uncertainty. The truth, elusive as it may be, will forever intertwine with the tale of Amelia Earhart, a narrative that inspires countless souls to seek their own paths of discovery and adventure. Her disappearance, as enigmatic as it is tragic, stands as a testament to her legacy, as significant as her remarkable achievements. The enigma of what transpired on that fateful day lingers, a haunting reminder that some mysteries refuse to fade from the collective memory of the public, forever etched in the annals of history. In the annals of history, certain cases have ensnared the imaginations of both aviation enthusiasts and the wider public. Over the years, a myriad of theories has emerged, some grounded in reality, while others drift into the realm of the absurd. The relentless pursuit of answers persists, even now. With the advent of cutting-edge technology, satellite imaging, sonar, and remotely operated vehicles, the door to new possibilities has swung open, yet the ocean remains an enigmatic guardian of its secrets. Despite the myriad challenges and setbacks, the quest for truth presses on, fueled by the unwavering hope that one day, the fates of Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan will be unveiled. One of the ongoing debates surrounding the mysterious disappearance of a heart centers on the chilling possibility of a navigational error. Some experts speculate that Art and Noonan, unable to pinpoint how an island, may have succumbed to disorientation, veering off course into the abyss. With fuel reserves dwindling, desperation could have driven them to seek an emergency landing site, potentially leading them to the elusive Mumo Island, a place nearly impossible to detect from the sky, its small size shrouded in secrecy. The absence of clear landmarks loomed large, casting a shadow of uncertainty over their ability to be spotted from above. Their struggle to communicate with the Coast Guard plane could have been the final nail in the coffin of their survival. The haunting theory that they met their end on that desolate island lingers, a chilling possibility that remains tantalizingly unproven. Yet, another theory, steeped in intrigue, suggests that Amelia Art may have fallen prey to foul play. Over the years, whispers have circulated, hinting that her disappearance was anything but ordinary. What if it wasn't just a tragic accident? What if, instead, the flight of Earhart was the result of a calculated act, a sinister plot woven by unseen hands? This theory suggests that her journey was sabotaged, either by shadowy external forces or perhaps by someone she trusted deeply. In the years that followed her mysterious disappearance, whispers began to echo through the corridors of speculation, hinting at her possible involvement in covert military operations for the U.S. government. Such a revelation could shed light on the murky official narrative that surrounded her vanishing. Yet, despite the tantalizing nature of this theory, it remains largely speculative, dismissed by the majority of historians and researchers who seek to uncover the truth behind her fate. In the shadowy depths of the ocean, where secrets lie buried and time erodes the truth, the fate of Amelia Arts remains an enigma. Despite countless theories and numerous expeditions launched over the years, the evidence supporting her disappearance is scant at best. Frustration simmers among those who have dedicated themselves to the search, grappling with the haunting possibility that her plane may have succumbed to the abyss, swallowed by deep currents and the relentless passage of time. Others speculate that the wreckage, a ghost of its former self, could be entombed beneath layers of sand or coral, waiting patiently for the day it might be unearthed. For now, the mystery lingers, a chilling reminder of the unknown that still haunts the ocean's depths. The most plausible explanation suggests that Art and Noonan found themselves marooned on a desolate island, their plane either having met a tragic end in a crash or left behind in abandonment. There, they ultimately succumbed to the harsh elements. Yet, without solid evidence, the enigma continues to haunt us. In recent years, innovative investigative techniques have reignited the quest for Amelia Earhart. Unlike earlier searches that fixated on the vast ocean and nearby islands, these new endeavors are turning to archival documents, sifting through historical records, and meticulously analyzing the remnants of old radio transmissions. In a relentless pursuit of truth, experts have delved into the intricate web of communications between Amelia Earhart's plane and the U.S. Coast Guard. Through meticulous analysis of these transmissions, they have unearthed new insights into the harrowing challenges she faced in those fateful final hours. This ongoing research not only sharpens existing theories, but also illuminates uncharted territories that may harbor vital clues to her mysterious disappearance. Though the quest has yet to deliver definitive answers, it underscores a growing determination among a community of seekers, united in the belief that the search for Earhart is far from concluded. In the shadows of history lies the enigmatic figure of Amelia Earhart, a woman whose story continues to captivate those who dare to seek the truth. Her legacy as a trailblazer in aviation stands unblemished, yet her mysterious disappearance has only deepened the intrigue that envelopes her life and achievements. Amelia was not just a pilot. She was a force of nature, shattering the constraints imposed by a male-dominated world. With an unwavering passion for flight and an insatiable desire to challenge the limits of possibility, she became a beacon of courage and determination, even in the face of uncertainty. Her disappearance casts a long shadow, a haunting echo of a life that once inspired countless individuals to pursue their dreams against all odds. The quest for Amelia Art's lost plane has transformed into a poignant symbol of resilience amidst adversity. It serves as a stark reminder that some enigmas linger for decades, perhaps even centuries, shrouded in uncertainty, with answers that may forever remain elusive. Yet this relentless search embodies hope. The hope that, through the advent of new technology, innovative theories, and the unwavering dedication of researchers, the truth will one day emerge from the depths of mystery, illuminating the narrative of a life that continues to captivate the hearts of many. What transpired with Amelia Earhart remains shrouded in mystery, a tale that captivates the imagination and beckons us to explore the depths of aviation history. Her vanishing act is not merely a footnote. It is an enigma that tests our grasp of the past while igniting the curiosity of generations yet to come. The legacy of Amelia Earhart stands as a powerful reminder of the indomitable human spirit's relentless pursuit of discovery. Her name evokes images of adventure and bravery, and the lingering questions surrounding her disappearance only intensify the intrigue, drawing us deeper into the shadows of her story. In our relentless pursuit of the truth, we find ourselves captivated by her life, a life marked by extraordinary feats achieved against insurmountable odds. As we delve deeper into the shadows of her story, we pay tribute to her memory, vowing to seek answers, no matter where they may lead us.